Mayfield's hand during the pregame toss. Head coach David Beatty reprimanded those three. The Big 12 Conference did as well. And those three are not captains today. Much different scene today as we see full handshakes on and four different captains here for the Kansas Jayhawks. Jackie Desir, Kyle Puglia, Ben Johnson, and Kellen Ash serving here for the opening coin toss. Last week was a disaster, Baldy, maybe the biggest story in college football.
Well, it was, because Baker Mayfield's not playing today in his final game, but really it was a classless act by Joe Dineen, Armstrong, along with Wise. There's just no place for it. It's just about sportsmanship. I always did this, Sean. You shake the guy's hand, you go battle for like crazy for 60 minutes, and then shake his hand and say thanks for, a fun afternoon. That's sports, and we should never, ever lose that under any circumstance.
So that wasn't handled correctly. Post coin toss into the new week, was it handled correctly by both the Big 12 Conference and head coach David Beatty?
Well, I think it's worthy of almost a suspension. Not a whole game, but maybe a quarter, sitting a quarter, and just making sure that you understand that there's no place in sports for that kind of behavior. What they did to Baker Mayfield was flat out wrong. I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that at a coin toss in my life, high school, college, or pro, and it bothered me all week long.
Kansas has won the toss. They've elected to defer. Let's watch some football, as this will be fielded at the goal line, and the Cowboys will bring it out. And we'll start just past where they would have for a touchback. L.D. Brown on the return for the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and Mason Rudolph will lead the Cowboy offense onto the field for the first time today. He leads the NCAA in passing yards this season.
Well, he's more than all the stats that we're going to talk about all day. This is his 40th straight start. He's been durable. He's been the leader since he took over that redshirt freshman season against Baylor. They've had themselves a quarterback, and that man right there, Justice Hill, the leading rusher in the Big 12, and one of the best running backs I've seen in this conference in a long time.
So 1st and 10, and we're underway from scrimmage, and already into the air is Rudolph, and he finds Stoner, good enough for a first down. So the Cowboys will play quickly from the jump today. They've been looking for better starts at home. They need to even their record at home at 500. Here is Hill on the handoff. Maybe a yard here on 1st and 10.
Well, it was just a week ago that Oklahoma State lost to Kansas State, and they did not start well, but this is what they have a chance to do today. 2,000-yard receivers, a 1,000-yard rusher, and a 4,000-yard quarterback.
Yet to see it in Big 12 history. It has happened 9 times in FBS football. 2nd down. Off-play action going for the big ball. It got Aitman racing for the end zone and inside the 5.
Well, we got that graphic in just in time because Marcel Aitman just went over the 1,000-yard mark as a receiver. And I saw him down the field. I tell you, that is a big dude. He's a great blocker, but I'm 6'4". They list him at 6'4". He's every bit out here of all of that.
Hill on the handoff after the 52-yard gain from Rudolph to Aitman. 2nd and goal coming up.
Well, they play fast. They have played fast since Mason Rudolph has taken over here. Mike Gundy has a program set up by culture. It has been established for 13 years under Mike Gundy. It's a culture of winning, and it's a culture of production. And Mason Rudolph basically embodies all of the culture that Mike Gundy preaches.
Washington lined up as a receiver on the big side of the field. Man coverage inside the 5. And the diamond formation is broken up by the Cowboy back in motion. 2nd down. And nothing for Hill as he dropped in the backfield by Joe Dineen, the starting middle linebacker for the Kansas Jayhawks.
That's his 22nd tackle for loss this year. I mean, the one thing about Kansas this year, not having a good season, that middle linebacker captain, Joe Dineen, he's got over 60 more tackles than the next closest player on that defense. Every play, every snap, every game, Joe Dineen.
Number 1 of the Big 12 tackles for loss. 3rd down. Gibbs for Hill. Got past the first line of defenders, but it'll be shy of the goal line.
Wow. Kansas might start this game with a goal line stand. I don't think that, I think Oklahoma will keep that high-powered offense out there. I mean, after all, we just bragged about 2,000-yard receivers, 1,000-yard rusher, and a 4,000-yard quarterback. Not going to settle for a field goal. So they brought their big bodies in. They got a bunch of fullbacks. Britton Abbott at that Cowboy back. Number 41 is the lead blocker.
They're going to go for it on 4th and goal. Rudolph out of the diamond will keep after the play fake to Hill. And he's in for the touchdown. And Oklahoma State has opened up the scoring here on the first drive of the football game.
You know, that's Mason Rudolph's 9th rushing touchdown this season. And it's an aspect of his game that people have to realize. He is a threat in the running game. This is going to be read option all the way right here. Going to fake it in here to Washington and pull it out. Or fake it to Hill and pull it out. And 9th rushing touchdown, 16th rushing touchdown in his brilliant career.
30-9 as a starter. Here's Amendola. He's been perfect this year on his extra points. And with that 7-0 here, a couple of minutes into the football game. And Mason Rudolph, who already owns 32 school records.
Oh, look, if you started reading all the records that Mason Rudolph has set, I mean, it's a novel. And here is the throw to Marcel Aitman. You see the accuracy right here. And Aitman, good 1-2 punch with Washington and Aitman at wide receiver. And then here's the touchdown run. The fake to Justice Hill. Enough speed to get to the corner and right into our camera and into your living room. I tell you, you know, I spoke to him down the field before the game. He's just a class kid. It's what you want in college football. Still has the baby face on him, you know, but he's going to have a nice opportunity at the next level. I mean, he's got all the attributes. Never have to worry about him, you know, when they turn off the lights at night. He's in the film room. He's the gym rat out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. Pretty good stock. His mom ran track. His father played football at North Carolina. And he's just been a tremendous acquisition here to this Cowboy program.
Kansas is about to get their first touch. Shadler and Charlotte are deep to receive. Here's Shadler. And so Kansas will get their first look after the 17-yard kickoff return. And back into his starting role today is Peyton Bender. He'll make his 8th start of the season. This is his 10th game played. And you and I talked at the top here, Baldy, about the inconsistency they've had at this position.
Well, it's been inconsistent. I talked to the offensive coordinator that coaches, Doug Meacham, who played offensive line here at Oklahoma State. He's like, I said, what's the problem at quarterback? He said, he doesn't have any time. And the offensive line has to get better. Doug Meacham has a hard time calling plays depending on what the offensive line can or cannot do.
A double reverse, and here's Sims, the wide receiver. And boy, did the Cowboys sniff that one out. Led by Ramon Richards out of the secondary in there to make the hit.
Well, they have a bunch of seniors on this Oklahoma State defense. In fact, we'll see 10 of them. 10 seniors or redshirt seniors, guys that have come up in that program of culture that are going to play their last game here today at Boone Pickens.
Richards, a converted quarterback, now finishing his career at a strong safety. 2nd and 14. Off-play action to Sims for his 2nd touch of the afternoon.
Good throw. Good throw by Bender. And it's always a quarterback that has been sitting the last couple of weeks while Carter Stanley started. Anytime you get that first throw in, good completion on a quick slant, right in the right place to Sims, that always gets you off on the right step.
Got 12 on that one now, 3rd and 2. Taylor Martin popping out of the backfield into the slot. And they'll pitch it to Martin. Got a good block. A tight end, and he'll just be shy of the first down marker. Calvin Bundage and Chad Whitener, a pair of linebackers, in on the stop for the Cowboys.
Well, it's just the basic fly sweep underneath right here. So he's going to come and just give it a chest pass here, trying to pick up some blocks on the outside. But that's Calvin Bundage, who's unblocked on the play. And
Cole moves to punt it away, and Stoner awaits for it. Calls for a fair catch. Mason Rudolph with already one touchdown today to add already a great season and career. Cowboys spot in a New Year's Six bowl. Head coach Mike Gundy, the longest tenured coach in the Big 12.
13 years now.
7-0. And Hill on the handoff is stopped immediately for no gain.
Well, I'm a big fan of Mike Gundy because he does things the right way. He's had to release players, suspend players, because it's about the team. It's about doing things the right way, and they've established that. And they're going to lose some players today in Aitman, Washington, and Rudolph, amongst others, that have been doing it the right way for a long time.
2nd and 10. Cowboys will make their 12th straight bowl appearance under Mike Gundy here this year, as Washington has his first reception of the day.
What a connection. What a connection here these two have had over the last 4 seasons. Look at the distance right here that the corner is given. That's called respect when you stay 10 yards off a guy like Washington.
Little shoulder fake, and perhaps on a design draw, Baldy. It's Rudolph reaching for a first down marker, but he won't make the line to gain here in the opening quarter.
You know, just a week ago, they had a chance to finish this game off against Kansas State right here and, you know, win the game in the last 2.5 minutes, and Rudolph and Washington just could not get the timing down that they've had for 4 years. They're going to punt this ball away. Good stop. 3 and out. They call a 3 and out there for Kansas defense.
Zach Seiner into punt. And Sims will try and make a return here. And after a spin or two, he is stopped after a yard return. Peyton Bender and the Jayhawks back on offense when we come back here to Stillwater, Oklahoma.
At Sam Adams, we salute those people who did that.
On top of Kansas, 7-0. Right here, there's a flagrant face mask by Zacharias Green on Steven Sims, and they didn't get the call. And Kansas needs the call. David Beatty in their program, they need these calls. They need every bit of help. Look at the ineptitude that David Beatty and this Kansas program has had, not winning a conference game now on the road in almost a decade.
There's Bender off play action. Looking for Shadler, and he missed him by a bunch. And Shadler took a pretty big pop as well from Bundage. And Baldy, I'm with you. Now, at least Kansas's defense got him a 3 and out on the second Oklahoma State possession of the day.
No, it's not bad. And Bender's going to get hit here as well, and that's the accuracy I'm talking about. You know, the quarterbacks, both Stanley and Bender, they're completing about 54% of their passes. It needs to be up in the 60s, 64, 65% to really be competitive in this conference.
Bender to throw, and that's broken up again, intended for Shadler.
David Beatty in his 3rd season here at Kansas, trying to turn this program around, and he talked this, to us this week. He's had 11 guys that have already had surgery. He said 2 more starters are going to have surgery next week. They just haven't been able to stay healthy. They only have 8 seniors that are actually playing on the whole team. And so they just have to get some traction and start building this thing. Get some of the younger guys to stay healthy.
And then you had the distraction last week of the coin toss incident here near the close of the season. Play clock winding down. As Bender takes the snap. 3rd and 10. And he'll be sacked. Back at the 15-yard line. That's DQ to Quentin Osborne with his 5th and a half sack of the season.
Well, he's right on top of the center here. It's 1-on-1. Jason Rhodes blocking him and gives up this sack, and that's part of the problem is the offensive line, not good enough up front to really move the line of scrimmage to the run game, and then trying to protect the quarterback when you get 5 receivers out.
Loss of 8 on the play. Here's Moose. And he shanked it. And then, boy, talk about field position for the Cowboys coming out for their 3rd offensive series of the first quarter. Osborne on senior day, getting it done. Followed by the Apple Cup as number 13 Washington State visits number 17 Washington. It all happens today on FS1 and Fox, so you can stream it all live on Fox Sports Go.
This is not a great look. I'm sorry. I mean, I just think it's pasty, and I know it's nice weather out here. It's the holiday weekend. Man, got to cover that up, Sean.
Here's Hill on first down. And Baldy, the cutoff denim shorts are about a Mike Gundy mullet away from 1983.
Yes, they are stuck in a different generation here. But he's got the paddle. All right, so it is, it's a holiday. A lot of students down on campus showing up with his paddle.
Draw for Hill. Shakes two defenders and the jersey pull near the end. And he's very close to a first down.
This Justice Hill is some player. It started last year. He's all the 100-yard games that he's had, but unbelievable quickness and then strength on top of it.
Chains move, first down, Washington. Not much into his own bench.
Justice Hill from Booker T. Washington High School. Great program right down the road in Tulsa here. And he's having some kind of start to his career. Leading the Big 12 in rushing, the 13 touchdowns. But, man, the number of games where he's just dominated the game. Big win against Iowa State a couple weeks ago. Had a great game against Matt Campbell's defense.
He added 15 pounds of just muscle since his freshman year.
I want to do that. What's the program?
I added 15 pounds on Thursday. Here's Hill trying to shake a horse collar. And after a gain of 4 on first down.
You go around the conference. We're in the 12th week right now, and you talk to other coaches about Justice Hill. They're like, that guy's the best running back in the conference. A lot of good running backs in this conference. And he's the guy that makes this offense go. We got to stop him. That's what coaches said. We got to stop him before we get to Rudolph or Washington.
How crazy is it, Baldy, to have the passing offense that Oklahoma State has and to still also have the leading rusher in the conference as well? Fake to Hill, and a ball dropped on the wide side of the field by Brown, the Cowboy back.
This is a Justice Hill run a couple weeks ago against Iowa State. This is a big comeback win in the fourth quarter. But look at this is all him. It's not blocking and scheme. I mean, it's just his ability to break tackles. And that's the thing. His balance is unbelievable, and his ability to finish. One of the best games against Iowa State they had that Iowa State saw all year.
43-yard attempt here for Amendola. He is 3 for 5 this season from this range. Make it 4 of 6. And the lead grows to 10 for the Cowboys here in the first quarter. Matt Amendola, just a redshirt sophomore, is the first in the Big 12 points-wise. Now it's 114 as he leads the conference in that category.
Justice Hill getting a little bit of water right there on the sideline. He's only a sophomore, but I think he's, so many great backs. Obviously Barry and Thurman, and so anytime you're a good back here at Oklahoma State, those names get brought up. And you can't do that to Justice Hill. You can't. I mean, there's only one Barry, only one. Remember when I was doing games at Fox and P.T. Navarro's our producer today. I mean, we used to have a camera just for Barry's feet, just to watch the footwork, like a special camera. But you have to make your own way. But when you have two Hall of Fame backs like Barry and Thurman, and Mike Gundy, he played with those guys here at Oklahoma State. He was the quarterback during that time, and so they get brought up. But he's going to have a chance to make his own name.
He has a 41.3-inch vertical leap. How does that translate to the next level?
I guess, if there's no hole there, you can just jump over like tall buildings and piles of bodies.
This is Dylan Charlotte.
I was talking to Doug Meacham, the offensive coordinator. There he is in your picture talking to Peyton Bender. Here's Doug, and he played offensive line here at Oklahoma State. Still has a lot of friends here. His wife and his kids are here today. And I was talking to him before the game. I'm like, Baldy, if your offensive line can't protect and doesn't really move the line of scrimmage, we're limited by what we can do. And so you need some breaks. They've had a lot of breaks go against them. You need a little bit of luck. And then, you just need guys to be able to make a play, just be able to move the sticks and stay on the field. That's what they're trying to do right now.
Down 10-0. And it's Bender in the pistol. And give to Taylor Martin. You talked about that offensive line, Baldy. Riberty, the center. So he was hurt, missed 2 games.
Yep.
In those 2 games, they only generated 63.5 yards total offense.
They didn't score a point. They were shut out against Iowa State, and they really struggled without him. With them, they moved the ball pretty well at times. They just are their own worst enemy when they get into scoring territory throughout the year.
2nd down and 8. Martin on the handoff.
Got a block.
And a 1st down. Stopped by Trey Flowers. Gain of 13 on the play for Taylor Martin.
Yeah, Taylor Martin's their fastest back. They'll play 4 of them, but they get a good block on the outside here. That kind of gets Martin to the corner. There's a block right there by Ben Johnson, the tight end.
Going Martin again on the quick pitch to the right side. And he's forced out of bounds on the play by Chad Whitener, the middle linebacker. Started his career at Cal.
Yeah. Smart guy.
Whitener's playing his 37th career game here for the Cowboys.
And he's their leading tackler. And I like the fact that he still wears the neck collar, kind of protecting this thing back here. You don't see many guys wearing that, but guys used to wear that protector. It helps against, you know, with the burners and stingers and some of the things you get in your neck.
Martin's trying to find a hole and gets across the 42-yard line. Gain of 6 on the carry for Taylor Martin.
You know, this Oklahoma State defense has given up a lot of points this year, a lot of big plays, uncharacteristic. They've taken the ball away like they have, you know, for a long time under Glenn Spencer, but they've given up a lot of big plays. They gave up 4 passing plays of 40 yards or more a week ago to Kansas State, things that Kansas State doesn't normally do. And Mike Gundy was in the office the next day trying to figure out what went wrong to DQ Osborne and all of the talent they have on that side of the ball.
Khalil Herbert is in at running back for the first time. Off the fake to him, a little pick here, and Sims has got the catch, and good enough for a 1st down. Ramon Richards on the stop for the Cowboys.
You know, this Steven Sims, he was originally going to Texas A&M with David Beatty. David Beatty was a wide receiver coach at Texas A&M when Johnny Manziel was there. And then when David got the job here, he said, hold on a second, buddy. I know College Station is nice, but maybe Lawrence, Kansas would be a good spot for you. And he followed David here to Lawrence, Kansas, and been a Jayhawk since.
1st and 10 for the Jayhawks, trying to make their way into Cowboy territory. Bender to throw all day. Looking for Sims, and overshot him inside the 15-yard line. A.J. Green, who has 4 picks on the season, defending for the Cowboys.
Well, you know, Oklahoma State only rushed 3 that time. So Bender had a lot of time with the ball. Good defense on the outside. That A.J. Green has had an interception in each of the last 4 games. And if you test him long enough, he's going to get his hands on a football now. He's got some special skills when the ball's in the air.
Those 4 picks are the most on the Cowboy defense. Martin will get back in there running back. 2nd and 10. Martin slips and is unable to get back to the line of scrimmage. Quentin Osborne finished it off up front for Oklahoma State.
Well, you can't lose your footage. The field is absolutely perfect. You know, I mean, you tackle yourself when your feet go out from underneath you. But they shrunk that hole that time. DQ, Osborne coming in. Only going to be a 3-man rush right here.
So now 3rd and 12.
3-man rush here for Oklahoma State. They're going to drop 8. And he's got to be patient with the ball here.
Just got the snap. Bender to throw. Found a spot. Nice sit down in the middle of the zone there for Kurt Johnson. Into Cowboy territory in a gain of 21 yards for Johnson and the Jayhawks.
Good blitz pickup right here on the outside as they bring Bundage. Back picked him up well.
And they had the tight end there on 1st down, but Bender sailed it, intended for Ben Johnson.
So, you know, this Peyton Bender started with Mike Leach at Washington State. He was an air raid quarterback. Things didn't work out. He lost the job. He transferred to Itawamba Junior College in Mississippi, came here, and he's got a big arm. They said he's got to work on his footwork, his mechanics, but the arm strength that we just saw on the deep slant, it's there. It's something to work with.
2nd and 10. Fake the Shadler and to Martin, and Sims in a crowd makes the catch. As a flag on the play.
A couple good throws right there by Bender on this drive.
Bender was the fastest Jayhawk quarterback in that program's history to hit 1,000 yards. He only needed 3 games to do so.
He got off to a good start. Don't know what this flag is.
There are 2 fouls on the play prior to the pass. Holding, defense number 4, ineligible receiver downfield. Offense number 55. These fouls offset. Replay second down.
So wipe out the catch for Sims.
We'll see the catch by Sims. Oh yeah, I see the ineligible downfield. There's the hold on the outside by A.J. Green, grabbing the jersey. Of course, there was the ineligible downfield. I think it was on Rybordy, the center.
Yes.
That basically canceled and nullified that catch.
10th play of the drive here for Kansas. Hand it off to Martin. Breaks 1 tackle. And we'll get a little closer to field goal range here for KU. Martin's been busy early.
Yeah. That's a good drive so far by Kansas, and they're faced with this 3rd down. See if they can convert it. They've converted a couple already on this drive.
2 for 2. This is 3rd and 8. And Bender's going to make an adjustment as he looks to the far side on the Kansas bench.
Looking to Doug Meacham for the audible check here.
Bender to throw. Trying to step over the pocket. Flag on the play. Possible hold. Bender goes behind Evan Fairs. Incomplete.
You know, they're going to get a hold here on the offensive line. And
holding, offense number 78. His penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
So the hold's on Akeem here, but you only have a 3-man rush. I mean, you should have at least 2 short double teams here. I thought, yeah, I mean, just had that right hand hooked around the end. But you know, you have a 3-man rush, you got 5 offensive linemen. I mean, 2 guys should be double teamed the whole time.
So Gabe Ruiz going to attempt a career-long field goal, 50-yard attempt, and it is good.
He crushed it.
And he best his long career-wise by 7 yards, and the Jayhawks are on the board. Beautiful day, this final tailgating Saturday in Stillwater, Oklahoma. Taylor Martin was busy on that drive, Baldy. 6 carries, 21 yards. And Rui, who had previously only hit from 43, makes it 50.
Let me tell you something. When you kick a 50-yard field goal on the road, you would get an audience. Everybody wants to hear about it. You know, if you miss it, you sit over there with the props, you know, with the mops and the brooms in that closet.
This is through the end zone, and the Cowboys will take over at the 25. Let's go to Greg Wolf. He's got a game break for us in our FS1 College Football Studios.
Sean, thanks. Over on Fox, it's college football's greatest rivalry. Number 9 Ohio State in Ann Arbor facing Michigan. Khalid Hill, the 265-pound fullback or short yardage specialist, punches it in from 2 yards out. Wolverines lead 7-0, looking for their first win in this matchup since 2011. Sean, Brian, back to you.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. Part of a big day in college football. A lot to be decided today.
All weekend long. I mean, starting, how about the Pitt upset win against Miami? I mean, you got to play this schedule in the season all the way out. There's no gimmies, and nobody gives you any wins in college football.
Mason Rudolph back to work. Off the fake to Hill. He's got McCleskey across the 40-yard line. Shaquille Richmond on the stop for Kansas.
You know, this McCleskey is a guy that people forget about how valuable he is in the slot.
16-yard game. Rudolph kind of fumbled the play fake and went for McCleskey again, but missed him, overshot him. McCleskey, the son of JJ,
yeah,
for the New Orleans Saints and the
Arizona Cardinals. Sure. A lot of some nepotism going on. Former players whose dads played in the NFL here out for Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Marcus Keys, the left guard, falls into that category.
Sure does.
2nd and 10.
Yeah, played for the Bears.
Stoner on this one. breaks the tackle, and 2 Jayhawks are needed to drag him down as he's past the line again. Miller primarily on the stop, 14-yard gain, first down, Oklahoma State.
You know, when the scouts watch Mason Rudolph from the NFL, as you see Tyrone Miller down for Kansas, they get to him. But when they watch Mason Rudolph, they're going to see an arm that has a lot of juice to it. You watch the ball come out, they call it the spin, right? That ball spins, it comes out hot. He's got a good arm. And at the next level here, Sean, I mean, I think these are some of the attributes that people talk about. He's got prototypical size. I saw him down the field. He's every bit of 6'5". He's been durable, 40 straight starts. He's been mobile. We talked about 16 touchdown runs. He can escape. He can buy time. And you look at Blake Bortles and Joe Flacco. They've all been that bigger guy. All right. They've all had their share of success. And, you know, Blake came out of a very similar offense at Central Florida, as does Mason Rudolph right here. Got to learn how to take the snap and play action and all those kind of things at the next step.
Give it to Hill on first down. Nice spin back. It's through a nice hole and across the 40-yard line. Mike Gundy was telling us yesterday, Baldy, about Rudolph and all the little things that he started to do. Really becoming a student of the game here in his final season. We'll get McCleskey again for the second time on this drive.
Got a first down. You know, for 40 starts, like, you know, last year Mitchell Trubisky was the first quarterback taken by the Bears. He had 13. Like, when you got to play the game, you have to. The more starts you talk about this year, the things that he fine-tuned, you get to fine-tune some of those things. You know, when you get to your third year of starting, the way Rudolph has.
Came in here to Stillwater just a shy and very timid guy, and has emerged as a real leader and a part of a culture here that Mike Gundy is raving about. After over a decade of being the head coach here, and Washington will pick up another first down as we're late in the first quarter. So perhaps one more play left in the first quarter. Defense on the stop for Kansas. That's a gain of 12 for him.
Just a stop, and I mean, he used every bit of the sideline on that stop to come back to it. He really stretched the field in this spread offense.
And they're going to let this wind down, perhaps. And the Cowboys will flip and head the other direction with a lead here at the end of one quarter in Stillwater, Oklahoma. A touchdown and a field goal. Rudolph leading the Cowboys to a 10-3 start. FS1 College Football from here in Stillwater is presented by Dave and Buster's. Welcome back to Boone Pickens Stadium. Great Saturday for college football. We'll end it here in this Big 12 regular season. And Mason Rudolph and the Cowboys lead at 10-3 as we begin the second quarter.
I was just looking at those cheerleaders. I don't think any of them over 8 on Thanksgiving. They all look like they've been able to maintain their calories.
Well done. That's discipline I don't have.
Yes, I don't have that either.
Yep.
The beach cobbler buried me the other day. I don't know who thought that was a good idea after a couple plates of turkey.
Well, apparently you did. You jumped right in.
No willpower.
Rudolph off play action. Looking for Washington. It's broken up in the end zone.
That's an excellent play by Hassan defense on James Washington, because Washington is one of the most athletic guys in the country with the ball in the air. That's a perfect play by defense. He looked back for the ball, he timed his jump, he got his right hand in there, and he broke up the play against one of the elite players in the country. 9th
PBU of the season.
Yep.
Bring up second down and 10. Rudolph, like when he scored a touchdown, keeps off the play fake to Hill, but he does not get as far as he did in the first score of the day. 1 yard on the carry for Mason Rudolph. Jack Desir in on the stop for Kansas.
Well, you know, the one guy you have to always look for on third down is James Washington, right up here at the top. I mean, he doesn't ever really leave that spot. Every once in a while he'd go to the wide side, but he's usually the right end. I saw him in the Alamo Bowl last year against Chudebe Awuzie of Colorado. Like, he didn't want nothing to do with him. I mean, he was a second-round pick, and he took him to school all afternoon.
First third down of this drive for Oklahoma State. Pocket closing. Rudolph steps up, throws. He's got McCleskey and a first down. And to the 12-yard line is Jalen McCleskey. Gain of 11 here for OSU.
Watch the footwork here of Mason Rudolph. Every time he looks for a new receiver. He sets his footwork. Reminds me a lot, the footwork, just the footwork of a Peyton Manning. Always looking to reset his feet. That time throwing the ball away from the defender.
Rudolph has watched hours and hours of film on Manning. They get another first down at the 2. Hill, though, won't need it. Touchdown, Cowboys. 12 yards for Justice Hill.
Yeah, that's his 14th touchdown run of the season. And he just has a burst. He just does. I mean, he's going to come underneath here on the handoff. And right there, he's going to just high step it away from the defender at the very end. Great in the open field. And he wants to be great. Just got a lot of football left here.
10-play drive. Amendola. Good again. Stays perfect on the season. Justice Hill and the Cowboys extend their lead here in Stillwater at home, 17-3. Oklahoma, 10 plays, 75 yards. It's Justice Hill on the 12-yard touchdown run. And the Cowboys now extended their lead 17-3 early second quarter.
And we're seeing, the triplets here today. We're seeing Rudolph scored on the one run, Hill on the one run. We've seen James Washington with a couple of big catches on the outside. And that's what these fans have been able to watch here at Boone-Pickens Stadium the last 3 years.
Amendola gets it away. Very returnable for Shadler. And a very nice return out to the 35-yard line.
And the last time Kansas had the ball, a little bit of progress here. You saw the running of Taylor Martin on the outside, a first down run. Peyton Bender with a good shot here into Steven Sims, and then a couple catches there by Kurt Johnson, and ended up in a 50-yard field goal. So Peyton Bender trying to build off of that last drive.
He'll bring Taylor Martin onto the field with already 6 carries today, 21 yards, most of it on that scoring drive. And they'll spot it at the 34-yard line. This is their best starting field position of the day. Give it to Martin. And he'll drag one defender with him.
Zacharias Green. Kansas wants to try to play fast. They brought Doug Meacham in from the air raid system, played at Oklahoma State, coached most recently with the Horned Frogs and Gary Patterson. Came up here to run the offense. Knows they've got to get stronger up front to protect their quarterbacks.
337 yards total offense per game under Meacham here in this first season with him calling those plays. Martin trying to bounce outside. Wow, great play defensively by Ramon Richards. Drops the Jayhawks for a big loss.
Well, this Ramon Richards is some kind of, first of all, he's a ball hawk. He's going to bounce it to the outside here. He's got 10 here. He is coming up here. Just going to take Martin right off his feet. 10 career interceptions for Ramon Richards, though. Great ball skills.
3-yard loss on the play. Make it 3rd and 7.
One of those seniors that's playing his last day for the Paddle Club here in Oklahoma.
Those walls that they pound with those paddles are so close to the field. It is loud.
Delay of game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
So it's interesting, Baldy. Kansas has been really good in the red zone. They lead the conference scoring percentage in the red zone. It's this play here where they shoot themselves in the foot so many times.
Well, they just did. I mean, this is an offense that's struggling to get first downs, and now you put yourself in, a position. That's all on Peyton Bender to get that ball snapped earlier than that.
Now 3rd and 12.
Watching Oklahoma State's defenders, a lot of communication amongst the defenders, and Kansas wants to talk about it.
So a delay of game, and then now a timeout used.
First charge timeout. Kansas, 30-second timeout.
Baldy, you just talked about improvement on offense. We can See that stop here, obviously. Tuesday, we've got an early season hoop showdown as number 22 Baylor visits Trevin Blewett and number 15 Xavier, followed by Maine taking on Georgetown. First-year Hoyas head coach Patrick Ewing off to a great start, 3-0 now on the season. It all starts at 6 Eastern on FS1 or streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Well, if you
finally get that chance.
Yep. You know, it is basketball season. I saw my Duke Blue Devils are up to 7-0 right now. You know, but like you're looking at Doug Meacham talking to his offense here. I mean, you take the delay a game, then you call the timeout. I mean, if you're going to call the timeout, just call it before and get it straightened out when it was 3rd and 7. But, you know, they're trying to, David Beatty said, they're trying to get to where Mike Gundy is. Build that culture and get that system and get the traction. They weren't very good at Oklahoma State when Mike Gundy took over. You know, he was, and they've had a couple years where they weren't great. 2013, they weren't great. But they bounce back.
3rd and 12, need a big play here to keep this drive alive.
No chance.
Off the screen on the right side, Kerr Johnson makes the catch. Sims lost his hat. A.J. Green on the stop for the Cowboys on a gain of 10.
Well, just, you know, I mean, if you didn't have the delay of game penalty, you might gain enough yards on that first down. 3rd and 12 is tough against the zone defense. Everybody's looking at you as you catch it. That Trey Flowers is some player. He's had a good career here.
Low snap to Moose. Stoner will call for the fair catch. And the Cowboys are back at it here when we return to Stillwater. All Cowboys so far, number 18 in the nation, up 17-3.
For Oklahoma State, Rudolph off to a good start with the rushing touchdown as well. James Washington held to just 1 catch so far.
It's a well-traveled horse when your offense averages 45 points a game.
Yes, he gets tired on Saturdays.
Hill on the handoff. This is the worst starting position of the day for the Cowboy offense as they lead at 17-3. Joe Dineen on the stop for KU.
Yeah, and you know, when you look at Kansas's defense, they really changed it last week when they got ready to play Oklahoma. They went to a 3-man defensive front. The double cloud on the outside is working pretty good.
Rudolph looking for Stoner, got him across midfield. Stoner with a break of a tackle and all the way to the end zone. Touchdown Cowboys, 76 yards on the touchdown strike for Mason Rudolph.
Well, another touchdown for Rudolph. The protection was really good for Rudolph to make this throw on the outside to Stoner. Nobody around him, and he knew it right away. He had a chance. Good, accurate, deep ball.
That's 2 completions today of 50 yards or more for Rudolph, and 29 now on the season as he connects with Dylan Stoner.
Stoner's got a good future here, right down the road from Tulsa. Just a redshirt freshman. Powerful Jenks High School.
2 plays, 78 yards, 31 seconds. Stoner needs a breath. Bullett's going to be busy.
Yes. Well, he get him on the outside here. Just a stack route. Stoner's going to the inside. Kansas just wasn't even, there's no safety in the middle of the field.
Yeah, Deontay Ford is on an island there. I mean, there's no help over the top at all.
Deontay Ford kind of the nickel back. And they got him matched up all the way on the outside. Somebody had to stay on top of them on the upfield shoulder. And, you know, when you score, here comes Bully. He's down to a trot.
Spirit Rider and Bullet.
I like the war paint on Dylan Stoner's face right there, getting a workout.
They use him in a lot of ways, Baldy. You know, kick returner now. He just kind of took into that role here.
You're gonna get some
most recently.
Getting some tired push-ups too now. Starting that up.
There's still 10:41 left in the first half.
They take the scoring serious here.
Rudolph's pass to Stoner was the 3rd pass of 70+ yards this season. And Shadow will take a knee. So the Jayhawks will go back to work. And Baldy, we kind of We kind of saw the Jayhawks kind of get going a little bit offensively, and then that last drive.
Well, you know, it starts with the mistakes, their own mistakes. You know, the delay of game penalty, then the timeout, you know, and then the inability to protect the quarterback. And David Beatty is trying to get this fixed here even in the 12th game of the season.
48 straight losses away from Lawrence, and on the wrong end of it here in Stillwater at 24-3. It's a long way from a win when you take down Southeast Missouri State in week 1.
Yes. You know, they keep talking about how they practice hard and you don't know about the losses, and they come to work on Monday.
Chase Harrell's first reception of the day.
They're just trying to find ways just to get positive yards here as Bender signals the plays out to everybody. Working around an offensive line that really is having a hard time competing with the front that Oklahoma State puts up there.
That big front got Trey Carter out there in the middle right now. 2nd and 7. Give it to Martin. And that big front, and Chad Whitener backing up the linebacker. Didn't get him much, gain of 3.
Whitener is the quarterback of the defense, calls out the signals as they bring in a whole new fresh set of bodies here.
They do some of those hockey line changes with those big guys up front.
They'll rotate 7 or 8. They play a lot of players, and so they are constantly fresh during the game and then fresh as the season goes on.
Double tight to the right of Bender. Hand it off to Martin, and an ankle tackle is going to keep him well shy of the line to gain. And Calvin Bundage,
he's been active today.
That's a big dude. Started their last 5 games, Baldy.
Yep. Bundage right here on the outside just beat the left tackle at Niji. Just beat him clean to the inside.
Dylan Stoner, who just had that big touchdown reception. We'll try and track this one down. Won't be able to get to it. It's out of bounds.
Here we go.
And so we'll take a break. 8:59 left in the first half here at Stillwater.
I'm here to talk to you about how AT&T gives you more. And so am I. Like how when you...
Hey, don't jinx.
Cowboys 23, Jayhawks 3 here at Stillwater. Let's head back to Los Angeles for a Dave & Buster's game break.
All right, Sean, thanks. Back to the big house and the great rivalry happening over on Fox. John O'Korn hooks up with his tight end Sean McKeon, 3-yard touchdown. First touchdown pass in over 2 months for O'Korn. Michigan leads Ohio State 14-0 second quarter. John, Brian, back to you.
All right, thank you very much.
They needed a big quarterback day from O'Korn. They were looking for some quarterback play, and they needed to beat the Buckeyes.
Speaking of quarterback play, as Rudolph goes back to work, he's already over 211 yards, more than halfway to perhaps a 10th 400-yard passing day of his career.
And we got a Jayhawk down after that catch.
That's Dorrance Armstrong, the preseason Big 12 Player of the Year.
Now let's take a look at Mason Rudolph already today. That's to Marcel Aitman, the senior. Pulled the ball down inside the 5, ran for the first touchdown of the afternoon. Working the pocket right here, keeping the play alive. And this throw here to Dylan Stoner, most recent touchdown. I'd say if Mason Rudolph needed a script a day for his final day as a senior here at Boone Pickens, this would be pretty close to the script.
Yeah, I think this will read very well on scouts' cards as they leave Boone Pickens Stadium. That throw he made to Dylan Stoner.
Going back in the center, Lundblade is going to fall right on top of his leg. Going to get him from behind. Looked like it was his left leg that he got rolled up on.
That's a 6'3".
They've had so many
300-pound center coming at you.
Well, it is, and you know they went to a 3-man defensive line last week against Oklahoma. They're playing it today because they just don't have enough healthy bodies, defensive tackles or ends. And now Armstrong goes off the field.
Second down for the Cowboys. Rudolph in trouble, finds Aitman. And he'll get the spot for a first down.
That's some good footwork by Rudolph that time. Just doing the reverse spin right here, away from trouble, and then being able to get that ball out quickly and accurately.
Better pocket now for Rudolph as he finds Washington. It'll take 2 defenders to bring him down after a gain of 3 yards on the play. James Washington leads the nation in receiving yards. Came into today #1 active player with 4,240 yards.
I talked to him before the game. You know, he has a ritual. Whenever he scores, he just hands the ball to the ref. Said he's been doing that ever since high school. Never going to change when he gets to the next level. We had a guy that used to play here that did the same thing for a long time, named Barry Sanders.
Just does things the right way, Baldy.
Yep.
And Mike Gundy was talking yesterday about, you know, culture here and what this senior class has meant. Washington certainly fits the bill, and you mentioned the way that he acts after a score. Gundy was saying yesterday, because I thought for the first couple of years I wasn't sure what I knew about Washington because he hardly spoke at all.
Just whispered. And he let his playing do the talking, right? There's Cowboys offense. 2,000-yard receivers, 1,000-yard rusher, quarterback with over 4,000-yard passing first time.
I asked Mike Gundy yesterday, I said, is that where you want this your offense to be year in, year out? Here's Rudolph going for another big ball. He's got Washington across midfield. And Gundy said, look, I said, Coach, is that what you should have each season, or is that freakish? And he immediately said, it's freakish.
Just a double move right there by Washington, getting inside defense. Mike Lee making the tackle. Imagine that Mike Gundy's going to miss some of these guys.
No doubt.
Helped to win a lot of games here.
17 yards on that last catch by James Washington. Into Jayhawk territory. 1st and 10. Hill on the pitch back. Rudolph down the middle. Looking for McCleskey. No. Mike Lee defending on the play. The ball was intended for Aitman.
Well, I think he had both Aitman and Washington. I think Washington was wide open. Here's Washington up the top. Nobody picked him up. I would have thought that would have been the first read for Rudolph. Safety was late getting over the top.
Baldy, this is an interesting conversation I've been hearing around Stillwater the last couple of days. We've talked all day about this offense, and Mason Rudolph, James Washington, Justice Hill, that trio. And here they stand at 8-3, and they had a tough home loss last week against Kansas State. As Rudolph on play action pumps once, finds Stoner trying to get to the line to gain. He'll be close. Fans here are restless. I guess the bar's been raised. Should they be?
Well, they scored 52 at Bedlam. They gave up 62, though. You know, at some point, you know, you got to keep the other team down. You got to play better team defense. But I thought last week the offense had a chance to go win that game against Kansas State.
3rd and 2. Under pressure. It's Aitman on the catch. There's your first down. As Mason Rudolph and the Cowboys keep moving down the field on a gain of 10.
You know, when you watch Mason Rudolph here, he's so strong and sturdy. And at the next level, this is so important. Being able to stay in there, take the hit, being able to adjust the eyes to find moving targets. I think he sees the field really well.
Britton Abbott is the cowboy back, as they call it, just to the right of Rudolph. McCleskey turning it inside, almost got loose for a big gain. This is good enough though for a first down as Richmond makes the stop.
Yeah, this offense is clicking now, and they're playing fast, really fast.
Now Hill, he's sandwiched up front. J.J. Holmes in there.
J.J. Holmes is the nose tackle now in this 3-man defensive line. When you run the ball inside, that's a good guy to anchor that nose tackle at 335 pounds. Might be a few more after this holiday weekend. You know, I had a few more on after Thursday.
I don't see any relief inside either. The food that's still to come this holiday season.
That's good stuff right there.
That's Loneker up there with Deneen on the stop pair of linebackers.
You know, the one thing about Holmes, he's got to keep pulling that jersey down. Otherwise, you're not sure if that's 88 or 28 there.
Rudolph to throw. And out of bounds was Aitman. He was going to be ineligible right away.
They got to stop.
Kyle Mayberry defending.
J.J. Holmes. You've got to keep fixing that jersey, but that was a good series that time. I mean, anytime you're keeping the highest scoring offense here in the Big 12 to a field goal attempt, defensively, you feel like you kind of won.
Amendola will go for it from 36 yards out. The punter, Signer, to hold. And the scoring in Stillwater continues. Perhaps a small victory for Kansas's defense. Beautiful day here in Stillwater, Oklahoma, and the campus of Oklahoma State.
You know what next Saturday is? It's Super Saturday on Fox, all day long. It kicks off with the Big 12 Championship as Baker Mayfield leads Oklahoma against TCU. Then we go courtside for Big 10 basketball. And the Big 10 Championship finishes the day as Ohio State and Wisconsin crown a champ. It's Super Saturday, all day, starting at noon Eastern, only on Fox.
T. Barrett and Ohio State. Coverage begins Saturday at noon Eastern on Fox.
Of course, that TCU-Oklahoma game, a rematch of a game played 2 weeks ago. Oklahoma winning that game against the Horned Frogs 38-20.
I like Gary Patterson with another chance to scheme against that Oklahoma offense.
I think Gary Patterson will have them ready to go. There it is. Next Saturday. 38-20, yeah. Yep. And, you know, the one thing about Gary Patterson is I've sat on his Friday night meetings, video test. And I thought I knew a little bit about football until I sat in one of his meetings, and I realized there's a whole lot more to learn. He gets those kids prepared. Kenny Hill back healthy.
I think in a lot of ways, Baldy, their win here, TCU at Oklahoma State, week 4, I think that went a long way into their spot in the Big 12 title game next week.
Now they held Oklahoma State to just a touchdown that day.
27-3 with Brian Baldinger, Sean Kelly at Boone Pickens Stadium. Peyton Bender back to work. He'll go to the running back, Martin.
During that last timeout, Mike Gundy got busy. I thought he might be calling a player over. No. It was the referee and his officiating crew arguing a particular call or not a call. And of course, you know, Mike he delegates everything. He manages the game, and so the referees are part of that responsibility of his, and he's not going to let anything go.
Got a handsome lead here in the first half, and a long way to run here for Martin on 2nd and 7. Zacarias Green chased him all the way down to the Kansas bench.
And he gets up hobbled too. He's just limping off the field, and that's been the story of Kansas football. He has to come out of the game. 17 players out with significant injury. Baldy mentioned earlier, 11 players have undergone surgery this fall. Martin got 2 yards with all that running. It's 3rd and 5. Johnson in motion. Just got away. A nice break up there by Trey Flowers. Flowers thought he had one. He went for it. He went for his 3rd interception of the season. Laid out for it. Just didn't come down with it. 49th gain for Trey Flowers. You're going to get pressure right up the middle here at Bender. Chad Whitener coming free. And here it is on the outside. Here's Flowers making that break on the ball. Good angle.
There would have been nobody to stop him either. Stoner will call for a fair catch. And Mason Rudolph back to work. Already up 24.
So coming into week 12, Big 12 standings, Oklahoma at the top. Of course, their one defeat came to the hands of the Cyclones in Norman. Big upset that day. course, Iowa State knocked off both TCU and Oklahoma when they were in the top 5. TCU took care of business yesterday against Baylor. Everybody plays everybody here in the Big 12. We know that 10 teams, and they all play all 9 opponents.
Oklahoma State with the 8 wins, looking for a 9th today. And then the possible bowl win would give them as Aitman comes up with a big catch in double coverage. Kyle Mayberry was primarily beat. He had over-the-top help holding, but what a throw by Mason Rudolph.
It was a great throw, But Aitman, who stands every bit of 6'4", I think he's taller, went all the way up to get it.
And now on the other side of the field, it's McCleskey. And you were right on the last series that Oklahoma State's clicking. It hasn't let down.
Well, look at this throw. Right on top of the tee. Took it right off the rim.
Aitman again. Boggle dropped it.
Of course, have to show so many great catches. You gotta drop the easy one. And he was like, yeah, that one's on me.
Marcel Aitman and James Washington got big news this week. They're invited to the Senior Bowl Baldy down in Mobile. Yeah. That'll be big.
Yep. No, it's a great week down there, and of course the NFL will all be there. You know, just beginning that whole process that the seniors have to go through and select the juniors.
Here's L.D. Brown bouncing outside. Ball for the end zone. Pylon. And just short. He'll be just short inside the 1-yard line. L.D. Brown on his first carry of the day.
Wow. I guess if you don't get a chance to get many carries.
29 yards. Quick snap. Falling forward and just short of the goal line. The Cowboys will have to try one more time here.
Just watch L.D. Brown here. See where the ball is, where the feet are, as he tries to get inside the pylon here. Foot hit the pylon. The ball was on the inside. I can't see if the right foot hit the white stripe here.
Right there.
Yeah, I think the right foot did step out of bounds. That last replay showed it.
Fine Feyuwaki is in that backfield with Brown. And off to Brown. Gets inside. Touchdown, Oklahoma State. L.D. Brown with his second touchdown of the season in from a yard out.
Yeah, this is just right behind Johnny Wilson, the right guard, and Lundblade, the center. The ball's just going to come right here on a cutback. He's just looking at daylight right here, wherever the softest is. He sees it back door. And, you know, if you got the quickness to make that cut, going hard left and then back to the right, that's what you're looking for. Just that daylight, and he sees it.
Mike Gundy was
Lundblade, the senior center, playing with a little Liz Frank injury, the foot playing through it. He's not going to miss these games his senior year.
Amendola makes it 34-3. Let's check in with Mike Hill in Los Angeles.
Coming up on the State Farm halftime, 9th-ranked Ohio State in big trouble early in the big house against Michigan. Plus, number 7 Georgia has its own challenge against Georgia Tech. And Lamar Jackson looks to lead Louisville past Kentucky. Mark Helfrich joins me at the half. Right now, Sean and Brian, back to you.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. All Cowboys here at home today on Senior Day. Mike Gundy had talked about slow starts at home, under 500 this season in this ballpark. Not the case today.
No, it isn't. And, you know, it's because of that kid. Mason Rudolph has been playing lights out good football. I mean, his throws, it's like dart practice. You know, and if you wanted to go to the state fair and pop balloons to get the big teddy bear shot, I'm taking Mason Rudolph with me because he's popping every balloon. And David Beatty he has not had this kind of performance where they haven't been able to slow teams down the first half. They've given up some points this year, but they're running into a powerful, powerful offense who's executing well.
Yes. Mason Rudolph, 19 of 25 now, 309 yards passing in this first half. Ryan Shadler will bring it out. Not a bad return. Greg Wolf in Los Angeles with an update on Georgia Tech.
Sean, thanks. 112th meeting of clean, old-fashioned hate. Number 7, Georgia Tech. Jake Fromm finds Javon Wims. 21-yard touchdown. Bulldogs lead 14-7 second quarter. Sean, Brian, back to you.
Greg, thank you very much. Bobby Dodd Stadium right there in Midtown Atlanta.
Yeah, well, you know, it's rivalry game. And, you know, for so long, Bedlam should have been played this game this week with Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. But because of the Big 12 championship game, they didn't want the possibility of these two teams, Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, meeting for the Big 12 championship. So they moved that up a few weeks. What a performance and game that was here a few weeks ago.
They haven't had a game here on Thanksgiving weekend in a while because before they brought the championship game back, they just wait until next Saturday. There's no championship game, so they let the students come back into town, and Bedlam was on. So the Jayhawks back to work. Khalil Herbert, who had 2 big games earlier this year, a massive game against Ohio, and even more impressive against West Virginia.
291 yards against West Virginia. And since then, Khalil Herbert in his next 7 games has rushed for 250 yards. But it was the one game, you know, that game, you said, okay, they can run the ball, and it just hasn't happened since then.
You and I had their game against Texas Tech. That was immediately following that, and we were shaking our heads the whole day long about why they wouldn't go back to a kid who had 4 touchdowns in 2 weeks combined and all those yards.
He had like over 30 carries that day against West Virginia.
Herbert again. Nice 1 tackle and a gain of 2 on the play.
Oklahoma State with getting some quick penetration inside. Trey Flowers with another tackle. Just watching Trey Flowers. He sat out the first half last week because of a targeting foul the week before. Came in to start the second half. You wonder if some of the big plays they gave up against Kansas State, would they have done that if his presence was on the field then?
Coming up on the State Farm Halftime Show, Mike Hill and Mark Helfrich in Los Angeles. Of course, Ohio State, Michigan today. We already talked about Georgia, Georgia Tech, and then the Iron Bowl this afternoon at Auburn.
Well, so much at stake with the Iron Bowl this year. Does Alabama, can they win despite the injuries here to hold on to that #1 spot? A lot of people giving Auburn a chance at home here today. Gus Malzahn, he'll have that team ready to go.
So if you thought that there was chaos when Pitt won against Miami, if Auburn takes down Alabama today.
Well, it will throw, you know, the college football playoff poll into a tizzy.
Yes.
But I always say you got to play this all the way out. You got to play every week and play it to the end. And a lot of times it will decide itself.
Championship games next week have tremendous meeting. And exactly what my partner was talking about is Taylor Martin is in a running back on 3rd and 5 here for Kansas. Bender will give it to Martin. First down and more. A nice run for Taylor Martin to extend the drive for the Jayhawks here as we've hit 1 minute left in the first half.
Well, just to keep the Oklahoma State offense off the field, be able to get that 3rd down.
Kansas will have the ball to start the second half. They won the toss and deferred. 1st and 10. Bender looked off Sims and looking for Johnson. Almost had it picked on a wobbling throw, well short.
That was DeQuinton Osborne hanging all over Peyton Bender on that throw, kind of affecting him. Osborne, one of those seniors, redshirt senior, you know, playing his final game here. They announced all the seniors before the game. They all got a rose, got a hug from the head coach, Mike Gundy, a real good ceremony prior to the kickoff.
Got a sack already today. But you're talking about Simmons earlier on the Kansas side. I don't think that Osborne's getting his jersey on all by himself either. Handed off to Martin, and he reaches midfield. Gain of 7 on the play.
David Beatty's going to call a timeout here. Like to at least get in position for maybe a field goal. Rui already has one from 50 yards.
Impressive, to say the least. You know, one thing, we're looking for bright spots about Kansas, and unfortunately for the Jayhawks and their fans, there aren't many throughout a season where you're 1-10. But I will say this. #1 in the Big 12 in red zone scoring percentage.
Well, they got to get there more often.
Right. But as you're calling a timeout here, perhaps that's one thing you can get ready is Gabriel Rui and that big leg that he showed us earlier in the half.
He's got himself ready. He's got the net up. That's always a good skill, being able to throw that ball back to you, bouncing it off the ground. This kicker's they can spin it on the finger. They spend a lot of time with that football, you know.
Leave it to you, a guy who played there in the trenches in college and the NFL, to make a crack about a kicker like that.
I respect the kickers, especially when they can make them for 50 yards. Joe Dineen Jr. going over there. Captain right there, right from Lawrence, Kansas, leading tackler.
They call him the mayor there.
Yeah.
His
Free State High School.
His mother played volleyball in Kansas. His grandfather was a running back at KU. And Dineen's great-grandfather played basketball for Fog Allen back in the 1930s.
But if you're going to put a face on Kansas football, that's it. Joe Dineen Jr. is the face of this program right now. He's having a phenomenal season, 12th straight start here this year. One of the leading tacklers in the country.
That's why that coin toss thing was so disappointing.
It was.
He strikes me as a young man that will really learn from that and move forward. 3rd and 3. Out of the timeout. Bender. He's got Sims. And that's to the 41-yard line. The clock will stop with 27 seconds left in the half. Jayhawks will hurry up as the chains move. Bender steps up. Room to run. Cuts right to the blocker, Martin, and a gain of 8. And David Beatty will call for another timeout.
Well, they're right there at about a 50-yard field goal attempt. Still 18 seconds to go, though.
How about the decision on Peyton Bender there to tuck it and go?
He's not really a runner, but I mean, this is where you're at right now. It's the last game of the season. Give it everything you've got right here. Every chance you get for points, you take it.
Yeah, minus 74 yards rushing on the season. I think you're right in saying he's not much of a runner. So Rui, who hit a 50-yarder earlier, he came into today, his career long was 43 yards.
I'd say there's very little, if any, wind out here today down in the field. He was looking for perfect conditions to kick a long field goal, but maybe they could get a little bit closer.
I think there's still, 18 seconds remaining here in the first half. Kansas has one more timeout at their disposal. And you may be right. Room to
get a little closer.
Actually, I think Kansas may be out of timeouts. Checking on that. They have 0 timeouts left.
Well, even if you complete the ball in the middle of the field, if you get a first down and the clock's going to stop, you have time to clock it. 18 seconds, you have plenty of time to still get a play off. And if you're in the field of play and you don't get a first down, you can still clock it and have your field goal team out there. Those things are rehearsed every week.
That's the tight end Ben Johnson in the backfield.
Extra protection.
2nd and 2. The Cowboys showing pressure. Here they come. Bender to throw, and coming out of the cut sluggishly there was Chase Harrell. Incomplete. Now that's 3rd down.
But I said that the accuracy is where Bender has to get better, because that was a throw that you have to make. It's a speed out, and those are the fundamentals of footwork that coaches were talking about he's got to work on this year.
All right, so 3rd and 2 now with 14 seconds remaining in the first half. Johnson stays back there to block for Bender. Going for the big ball. And he's got him. This is a touchdown for Kansas as Evan Fair scores his first touchdown of the season, 33 yards. And it comes with 7 seconds left in the first half.
This is a great throw, catch, and that hand comes down. Does it come down on the white stripe? It may get looked at. It is, splitting just little hairs. The palm, they may look at this.
Referee is waiting on the signal as to whether they'll need the further look.
It is a great throw by Bender. Back shoulder. Fairs does a good job of adjusting to the ball. But it looks like it's being held up right now as they review it. And is any part of that hand out of bounds when Fairs comes down?
Brandon Cruz is our referee this afternoon. He has placed himself in front of the holder and kicker.
I think Bender and Kansas and Fairs, they all need a little bit of a break. Just something.
Dean Blandino joins our broadcast from Los Angeles. Dean, your take on this late first half touchdown possibly for Kansas?
Yeah, I'm looking at it, and Brian brought up the hand, but watch the feet. It's the left foot that's going to come down first after he gets control, and then he's going to land in the end zone, complete the catch. So this should be confirmed as a touchdown here.
It is, Dean. Thank you very much. And the extra point is good. And it's a great way to end the first half here with now just seconds left in quarter number 2 for the Kansas offense. So 7 seconds left. Thank you, Dean Blandino. That helps on our understanding of the Fairs touchdown catch. What a play call by Doug Meacham on that.
Well, they went for it. They brought Ben Johnson in for max protection. They picked up the blitz. Oklahoma State blitzed them with 2 that time, and Doug Meacham's like not many of those to really celebrate this season, but that was a good throw by Bender.
We've seen their offense up and down here in the first half. Couple of nice drives. That's well executed in the final 2 minutes.
It really was, and they went the length of the field, and when they do the right things, they pick up the blitz, they give the quarterback time. They got a couple good runs in there. Bender had a good scramble for a first down.
They were unable to get a touchdown against Oklahoma last week, so this is most welcome that they've
41-3 lost Oklahoma a week ago. Khalil Herbert talking to the quarterback. That's just got to be a good feeling going into halftime with that type of a drive.
7 seconds remaining here in the first half. This will be squibbed. Kansas's offense had 73 yards total offense on their first 6 drives combined today. That last scoring drive, exactly 73 yards. And with 3 seconds remaining in the first half, Oklahoma State will head to the locker room with a healthy lead here, and I'm sure a kneel down here to finish things off in the second quarter. And a fantastic day for Mason Rudolph thus far.
Yeah, it's senior day, and it's a big deal. And all the celebration that went on before the game, he came out and has just been razor sharp throughout this whole first half. He's missed all the 6 passes, thrown for over 300 yards, and little victory celebration.
So that'll do it for us here in the first half. That's the end of our first 2 quarters. Oklahoma State 34, Kansas 10. Right now, we'll send you to Los Angeles and Mike Hill.
All right, welcome to the State Farm FS1 College Football Halftime Show. Mike Hill hanging out with the Coach Martin.
34-10, Oklahoma State on top after one half of play at Boone Pickens Stadium here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. I'm Sean Kelly. Brian Baldinger's alongside. We welcome you all back into the broadcast booth. By the way, Baldy, you look fantastic. It's a very sharp outfit you got there today.
I bought it this morning at Belk's at 8 o'clock when my bag was found missing on the airlines. Thank you very much. But we recovered.
Yes, absolutely. Oklahoma State off to a great start today. 34 points on the board, 377 yards of total offense.
And, you look at Mason Rudolph in the first half that he had. I mean, it was his 40th start, and he just gets it. I mean, the speed, the precision, the accuracy. He ran for a touchdown to start the game. I mean, he's really been the story in the first half for Oklahoma State.
All right, Kansas, though, ends the first half on a high note. They'll have the ball to start the second half.
Well, they did. They finished the first half with a good 2-minute drive for a touchdown. Peyton Bender to Evan Fairs for the touchdown. And it gives them some positivity, something to come out of the locker room with and try to build on in the second half.
So the Jayhawks are all set to receive as we begin the third quarter as Amendola puts foot into it. It will be Shadler breaking one tackle and then wrestled to the turf shy of the 25, 21-yard return.
Well, Peyton Bender's 9th touchdown of the season was to Evan Fairs right here. The final seconds of the first half. Great shot in the corner, put enough air in it for Fairs to go up, adjust to it, use his 6'3" frame to go bring that down, and Kansas scores a touchdown.
Kansas is not going to a bowl, obviously. These are their final 2 quarters of their entire season, Baldy. Chance here to really lay it on the line.
Well, it is, and you just want to finish strong, and you just want to go out, all the work that you put in from the offseason, the summer, training camp, just want to try to finish on a good note.
Bender to throw on first down. Just to get away from the pressure. Good pursuit and coming back to the football, almost making the catch is Kerr Johnson. Let's take a look at our first half stats brought to you by Dave & Buster's.
Well, you see, first of all, the passing yards, 309 yards for Mason Rudolph. I mean, he really executed that part of the game in just 8.2 yards of play. And, you know, I mean, it was just a dominant first half. Oklahoma State, a team that had struggled in the first half for many of the home games here this season.
2nd and 10 for the Jayhawks. Taylor Martin back to work. Chad Whitener on the stop for Oklahoma State.
Pretty good block on the left side by Adeniji, the big left tackle who's going into surgery next week. He's having both labrums on his shoulders repaired. Here he is right here doing a good job of just sealing on the outside. Getting a little bit of running room for Martin.
Both shoulders.
Both shoulders. Yeah, imagine that. I don't know how to go to sleep at night after you get both shoulders operated on.
Oh, and semester final exams are on the way too. Good luck with that.
That's piling on.
Sorry, 2nd and 7. Oh, it's picked off. Intercepted by the linebacker. There's that takeaway that the Cowboys are looking for. That's 14 turnovers in their last 7 games. Chad Whitener comes up with a big pick.
Well, here's Whitener here. He's going to be looking right at Peyton Bender here as he drops into coverage. Getting into his flat area, just jumps it right in front of the tight end. If he didn't get it, Ramon Richards might have gotten it.
That's 26 straight games now. Oklahoma State has forced a turnover. That's the longest active streak in FBS.
It's really, you know, they've given up a lot of big plays, but one thing they do is they can take the ball away. 22nd takeaway of the season, like you mentioned. 16th interception on the season.
Short field for Mason Rudolph. Looks McCleskey's way. Now lobs it up for Washington. Touchdown, Cowboys. 30 yards off the turnover. Points on the board again for Oklahoma State.
Well, he made this one look easy. And like good offenses, as soon as the defense gets the ball back to you, they like to strike right away. They took one shot in Washington with his 38th career touchdown catch. Most of them from that man, Mason Rudolph.
That takes him then 2 shy of Justin Blackman, who's second all-time career TDs here at Oklahoma State. 90th career passing touchdown also for Mason Rudolph. And now a 31-point lead on the extra point by Amendola. We'll take a break. Chad Whitener picks off Bender. Sets up the short field, and 30 yards later, touchdown. Rudolph to James Washington here on Senior Day.
How the cast of Jumanji got in shape for the movie at Dave & Buster's.
4 hours. Justin Blackman, some great wide receivers that have come through here and played, been drafted very high. But I think when James Washington and they talked to Mike Gundy about him and what kind of person he is, I mean, he's going to have great stock and a great opportunity.
Dalen Charlotte this time to return for KU. Stuck pretty good. Nice special teams play for Oklahoma State.
James Washington's 38th touchdown, career touchdown on this shot from Mason Rudolph, coming right into your living room. James Washington's got 38 touchdown catches here, and he's done the exact same thing on every one of his catches. He's walked it back, handed the ball to the official, and went on about his business. He said he did that in high school. Everywhere he's ever been, he's done the exact same thing.
Came from a town of 3,000 people. Played about 16 different sports growing up. Pretty amazing story.
Well, there one great Barry Sanders did the exact same thing every time he scored.
Taylor Martin, nowhere to go. Got a yard out of it. Somehow Chad Whitener on the stop.
You see on the offensive line in there right now is Bragg, Jacob Bragg in there. Trying to get some bodies. They're trying to develop some guys here. If this is going to turn this program around, it's got to be up front where they really make the improvement.
Bragg will be a senior next season. Give us to Martin again.
And right behind Bragg that time, the left guard. I've seen all kinds of different left guards in this year. I've seen Tovey in there, Andrew Tovey. I've seen Jason Rhodes. Bragg's in there right now. And Zach Hannon, he played center, he's played guard, he's been at right tackle.
And they really like Hannon.
Yeah.
And yet he's also a guy that missed time, 2 weeks with a concussion. They've had all kinds of movement up front.
I've seen Jacob Bragg has been short yardage fullback and extra tight end out there throughout the year.
35 for Kansas. Sims out of the backfield in motion. Looking for Sims and overshot him.
But that throw by Peyton Bender really personifies the quarterback play here. He's got time, he's got great protection right here, and he's got a lane to throw it through, and he sailed the ball. Just sailed it right over the receiver's heads right here. He's got Sims. There it is. There's a first down throw. And in the Big 12, as good as these quarterbacks are, and that's, you know, there's some tough love right there, but you got to make that throw.
The 6th 3 and out for the Kansas offense. And that's another shank punt by the Jayhawks as well. 12:27 left in the third. 34-10. 41-10.
With the mullet. Business in the front, a party in the back. He wears it in different eras, different generations. It travels with him. And I think it travels well because I'm a guy that had a mullet too for a long time. Not as long as Mike, but I wore mine with a lot of pride.
It's become a thing.
Yeah, well,
it really has.
It gets talked about a lot.
In fact, there is a T-shirt at the world-famous Eskimo Joe's bar here. Uh-oh, here's Washington. Can't reach the big ball from Mason Rudolph. So there's this T-shirt at Eskimo Joe's where they have the airbrush mullet, and he joins, of course, the pantheon of best sports mullets.
I mean, let's just go through them. Andre Agassi, come on, one of the great tennis players of all time. Jaromir Jagr is still playing and still sporting his mullet, right? John Kruk, I live in Philadelphia. I saw the Krucker, watch him on ESPN. How about the Boz? Had his own version.
The Frosted Tips version.
The Frosted Tips version, yes. Now, if Mike Gundy comes out with the Frosted Tips, that's going to get some airwaves.
On 2nd and 10, here's Justice Hill. We haven't seen him carry in quite some time. Richmond on the stop. That's 4 more yards for OSU.
Well, I mean, Mike Gundy's on his 13th year here. Of course, quarterbacked the Cowboys here for a long time. Had a lot of success as a player, and the program under his leadership has been outstanding. And it's getting, it's getting a little long in the back right now.
Just like any style, it's going to come back, and then he'll be one of many again, right?
Yes, you're right. Retro.
Rudolph approaching 400 yards passing. Skips this one to Hill.
Well, he gets about 5 seconds here. Josh Ahambia finally is going to come and get to the back of Mason Rudolph here. There's Ahambia bringing him down, but you're not going to get 4 seconds or 4.5 seconds at the next level to make that decision.
Cowboys forced to punt. Haven't seen much of that today on their side. Just the 2nd 3 and out for the Cowboys. Sims calls for the fair catch. So Kansas, after throwing it away on their first possession of this half, we'll have the football, and tomorrow we've got a full slate of NFL for you.
About those 2 quarterbacks.
Outstanding. Possible MVP there on your right. Carson Wentz.
The 9-1 Eagles. Mitchell Trubisky, both of them the 2nd pick in the draft. Carson Wentz, 2016. Trubisky, the 2nd pick this year for the Bears. They hope that they can build their program around Trubisky the way the Eagles have built theirs around Carson Wentz. And I'll be at that game tomorrow. And the Eagles will try and keep that lead that they have right now against the Vikings, who just won on Thanksgiving. Of course, the Rams and your Saints will play out in Los Angeles tomorrow. It'll be a great game.
Check your local listings for the game, of course, in your area, or stream it live on Fox Sports Go. Bender uncorks one here, and that's going to be good enough for a first down. A nice catch by Evan Fairs.
Now, there's a good throw by Peyton Bender. He set his feet, came off the bootleg fake right here, and then he made this throw. Set his feet and followed through, and that's the results. And, And really, David Beatty was talking about, he's got to get back to the fundamentals and really work on them and hone them, and because the arm strength that we just saw was there.
Gain of 11. Darren Thompson in the backfield. Takes the handoff. Push forward for a couple. That's the first carry of the day for Thompson. Did not play against Oklahoma last week. Calvin Bundage made the stop. Thompson, a junior from Wichita, Kansas, transferred from Colorado State.
Earl Bostic in at tight end, the freshman, helping out with some protection right now. As Bender just changes the play. There's Bostic. Good looking freshman, 270-pound tight end.
Sims in motion. They'll flip it to him. Got a lead block. Trying to turn the corner. The pursuit by the OSU defense of Trey Flowers was tracking all the way. Gain of 5.
That's Sims. What a day he had against Texas Tech. And then against Kansas State, he had over 200 yards receiving against Kansas State. Pretty good. Probably the best game they played all year was their in-state rival, the Sunflower, Bowl. Sims, 9 catches, 233 yards that afternoon.
He'll be back next season, of course. He'll be a senior. Third and short. And they won't get it.
Yep, that's Osborne.
He's had a nice day.
He has had a good day. Quite a lot of emotion today. There's 2 seniors, Whitener and Bundage, helping out on the play. Here's Osborne inside. Beats Bragg, gets rid of him, and then makes the play in the backfield. Man, everybody loves that little symbol right there. Got to eat.
So Wallace now in to make the fair catch. He'll secure for the Cowboys. Mason Rudolph closing in on 400 yards for the 10th time in his career as the Cowboys up 41-10.
Taco let him go the distance. This one to James Washington. And who knew when Mason Rudolph took over for Dax Garman almost 3 years ago at Baylor, and he'd start the next 40 games in a row.
Going for his 31st career win, and he's sacked here on first down. Mr. Keyshawn Simmons on the sack. Loss of 6. That's the first full sack for Simmons this season.
Well, Keyshawn Simmons in there right now. Dorrance Armstrong has been out. And first time that they've gotten to Mason Rudolph today.
So we'll try again, but now 2nd and 16. On the play action. A dump off pass and some confusion. The ball almost grabbed by Hill, but he was in an entanglement with Lundblade, the center. So 3rd down upcoming. Offensive leaders today for the Cowboys.
Well, you got 200-plus yard receivers in Aitman and Stoner. And, of course, Mason Rudolph. You mentioned that he's had 10 400-yard passing days out of his 39 previous starts. On his way to there today.
Cowboys 4 of 9 on 3rd down this afternoon. We'll put the Cowboy back in motion. That's Abbott. And a whistle.
Too much time?
Yep, delay a game.
Yep. Well, Kansas gave him
Offense, 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
This will be the first Oklahoma State penalty enforced today.
Wow. Well, error-free football is a good way to kind of go through a game. Not many infractions today. Of course, Mike Gundy and his team lost a great opportunity last week against Kansas State. Played some good defense, but gave up 4 touchdown passes of 40 yards or more a week ago.
Rudolph to throw. A dump off here to Hill. And he won't get much. They'll still be behind the sticks here. And the crowd is not pleased with Joe Dineen as
No.
He wrestled him out of bounds.
Well, those two seniors, Deneen and Aitman, looking at each other. Deneen's actually redshirt junior. He'll be back. But he just wants to get one more tackle, add to the kind of WWF body slam right there. I mean, you could throw the flag on that, but he got up without any sort of ill intent on Justice Hill.
Sims back here for the Jayhawks. Received the punt. Great punt. Backs him inside the 25. Also gives him some room to run. And Sims almost had just one to beat. What a return for Steven Sims. It's great to have the Big 12 back on Championship Saturday after a 7-year absence. The Big 12 is the only conference which guarantees to have its two best teams playing each other, and tickets remain available as TCU will take on Oklahoma from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas next Saturday. Visit Ticketmaster.com for more information. 49 yards on the punt return for Steven Sims Jr.
Yeah, he's their playmaker, you know, and the more times they can get him the football, the better this offense is. I mean, he didn't start last week. He's banged up. You can see him still banged up from the season and the hits that he's taken. Not taking the field here with the offense right now.
Chase Harrell back into the receiver. Kurt Johnson also back out there along with Evan Fairs. Favorable field position. Thompson with a nice run on first down. Tackled on the play by Jossie Ockham.
Well, when you come to Boone Pickens Stadium and you're playing quarterback, you got to be able to deal with the paddle club, and you got to deal with that noise and everything that it brings.
Pitch to Thompson in a crowd. Might just have the first down. He does. It's across the 30-yard line. First down, Jayhawks. And they are moving into that end of the field where the paddles are banging.
I don't quite know what all the rules are. I know this. They got a good rhythm going. Like they've got that thing down. They were practicing well before kickoff today. Student section. A lot of kids back in town from the big Thanksgiving feast on Thursday to see their Cowboys play, and a lot of these seniors last day.
Bender to throw. Got Sims, who just checked back in, and another first down for the Jayhawks. Ramon Richards on the stop. That's a gain of 13 for Mr. Sims.
And we've seen Bender throw that same slant route a couple times today. And when he steps into it, mechanics are all good. The ball arrives in a hurry and in the right place.
41-10. Oklahoma State. Darren Thompson is in the backfield out of the pistol. Bender runs again. Sims caught inside the 5, stood up and stopped there. Moved the chains again. 3 plays, 3 consecutive first downs, 13 yards on this one.
Sims just going to run this slant from the inside this time. Ramon Richards really didn't close on him.
KU #1 in the Big 12 in red zone percentage, 29 of 31.
That's true. They're down here. See if they can close it out. This has been Sims's drive. The big punt return, and then the 2 catches back to back.
And Johnson, the tight end, is checked in. The lead block here for Thompson. Keeps his legs moving, moves forward for a couple of more. Gain of 2.
Pretty quick penetration that time by Kenneth Edison Magruder. The weak side linebacker came streaking through. Need the back adjust. Kansas lining up here in I formation as they split out of it now. All right.
Double tight. Here's Martin in motion. Bender to throw. And he was rushed, and he is incomplete, intended for Johnson. Great pressure up front as Edison Magruder again pushing into that KU backfield.
Yeah, well, here he is. Here it comes again. Right. Little quick pressure this time. So he can't get the ball to the tight end, Ben Johnson, a little pivot route. He was there. Johnson, 1 touchdown catch on the season.
3rd and goal. You got Sims, breaks the tackle, reaches, touchdown, Jayhawks.
Great effort by Sims. Now the ball came out, but did it cross the line first, and did he get the ball in? He seems pretty sure about it.
He needed 2 yards, and he had to reach for the last full yard there. All on the field is a touchdown.
If it stands, that was the signature drive. Bump all those plays to the resume reel of Steven Sims Jr. there. 3 big catches along with the punt return.
And Baldy, he came off the field after the punt return, took a breath, and then
take another look at it here. He tries to stretch this ball out. Rule the touchdown, so that we got to see an angle here. The knee is, there it goes. That ball touches any part of the white stripe with his hands on it, it's going to be a touchdown. I don't see an angle here that's going
to me, that's the best one yet, and it still makes, remember, we have to have overwhelming evidence to overturn the call on the field. Our great camera crew and guys in the truck are efforting to give us the best look at it.
Well, I think when Steven Sims stretches his ball out right here, it touches the ground, boom. Then the ball comes out, and I'm just watching Sims right here.
All right, Dean Blandino will join us here from Los Angeles from our FS1 Command Center. Dean, what are you seeing here on this touchdown effort by Sims?
Yeah, I'm looking for and they stayed with the call on the field, and I would agree with that. It looked like he reached the ball out, and before he landed, if any part of that ball breaks the plane of the goal line, it's a touchdown. He had control before it came out. When he landed, I think there's just not enough to change.
All right, Dean, thank you very much. That's the first rushing touchdown, or excuse me, the 6th touchdown of the year for Sims. He's yet to rush one in, which we've seen him rush a few times today. All right, Dean, thank you very much. Kansas back on the board, 41-17 here in Stillwater.
You know, a couple of slants and then the final little hit screen to him. It shows some of the talent. They need more players like Steven Sims here, but also showed when Bender has time and he can set his feet that, you know, the ball can get out quickly and accurately.
So 41-17 now, 5:41 left in the third. And Landon Wolf will be deep to receive for the Cowboys. As Rui gets into this one. And we'll go over L.D. Brown's head for a touchback. Michigan, Ohio State this afternoon. Let's head back to Los Angeles for a Carl's Jr. and Hardee's game break.
Yeah, Sean, thanks. Back to the big house. That great rivalry happening over on Fox. Karan Higdon powers his way in from 2 yards out. PAT would be blocked, but Michigan leads number 9 Ohio State 20-14 third quarter. Sean, Brian, back to you.
Thank you very much. Anarchy.
Well, Jim Harbaugh, you know, he's the pressure's on to beat the big rival, the Buckeyes, and he gets them at home, and he's got a chance to knock them off and knock them out.
Mason Rudolph, 21 of 30, 348 yards. First down, a handoff. Gain of a yard for Justice Hill.
They've done a good job against Justice Hill today. Really kind of controlling him.
Jordan on the stop.
Justice Hill just 40 yards rushing here. The Big 12 rushing leader. Kansas changing up the front. They're in a 4-man front now. They've been in a 3-man front. Kind of giving them a lot of different looks.
2nd and 9. Rudolph lobs one over to Washington. Good enough for a first down, and another routine day at the office continues for James Washington.
But that's the big throw. That's from the far hash all the way to the sideline here in Washington on the little speed cut. Washington gets his feet down plenty of time, but that's the long throw that all scouts want to see if the quarterback can make. And Mason Rudolph's been doing that now for his 4th year in a row.
Gain of 11, another first down. That's 18 first downs this afternoon for the Cowboys.
I think Mason Rudolph's arm is going to get stronger as he gets older, too. The more you throw it, the stronger it can get.
And off to Hill. Splits 2 defenders. Cross midfield. 19 first downs for the Cowboys this afternoon, and Joe Dineen on the stop.
Justice Hill averaging over 5.5 yards a carry this year, and a lot of runs just like this. Just a bounce right off the right side, makes one miss, but good block by Crabtree, the right tackle that time. The redshirt senior.
Love
this him going forward.
Yep.
Yeah.
So first down now into Kansas territory. And McCluskey will catch. Teammates running interference for him out of there. It's like 3 or 4 on the play. Call it maybe 2.5.
Just watch James Washington get into it with the corner over there. Looked like it was instigated by, here it is. Assigned defense. Washington just wants to get his hands off him. He doesn't get his hands off.
Second down, that's through the hands of Justice Hill.
James Washington at the next level, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get great athletic ability, almost a 40-inch vertical jump, a 4.4 40. He'll test well at the combine, and we saw him today. He tracks a deep ball so well. He gets a lot of opportunities in game situations from Rudolph, and he'll fight for the ball.
I think he's going to win the Bolitnikoff Award. The other two finalists, David Sills of West Virginia, Michael Gallup of Colorado State. I think Washington's got that thing hands down. Here's the Cowboy back, Britton Abbott. That's a load to bring down. Hassan defense does make the tackle after a gain of 11 yards.
Now that Britton Abbott, he's from Kansas, liberal Kansas. Got a couple of guys right from the shadows of Lawrence.
Rudolph escapes trouble, throws it to Abbott again, inside the 20-yard line. I tell you what, Britton Abbott is a former high school quarterback. Yep. I can't picture it when you look at him as he almost fills up your screen. But that is a former high school quarterback making 2 consecutive catches.
That's Daniel Wise right there, the starting defensive end that Rudolph just shook off. That Britton Abbott, first team academic All-American. Father coached him in high school at Liberal, Kansas. Just a walk-on. Just a walk-on, but such a valuable part in the protection of Rudolph and then opening up holes for Justice Hill. That Cowboy fullback position.
First and 15 after penalty. Off the play fake to Hill. Got some blocks in front. Hit as he throws. That's caught. That's a big-time play. On both ends of it, the 2 seniors again, Washington and Rudolph.
Well, Rudolph is patient with the ball. He's going to take a massive hit as he delivers it. And then he throws just a dart to Washington, who went up and took it from everybody and got his feet down in bounds. We're going to probably look at the sideline here. Washington got him in, but it looked like it was a clean catch.
Ruling on the field was a completed catch. Plays under review.
Gain of 23 if it stands. And Washington is over 100 yards receiving for the 20th time in his career.
Here's the throw. Rudolph sets his feet, takes the hit. I think both feet got him bound for Washington.
That's NFL good.
Actually throws Hassan defense off first. Both feet are down and in.
Question is, did he not have control of the football, Balding, when he down?
The mechanics are the feet first and then control. So let's take a look here at the finish. Feet are both in. Does he possess the ball?
The official in the back of your view there was reaching for a penalty flag as well.
He's got both hands on the ball. Does sneak out late. It's tough in the shadows right there to see. Mike Gundy is arguing because Hassan defense was holding and grabbing him all the way through. And it was going on throughout the
After
entire
reviewing
drive.
the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It's first down.
First down, Cowboys. I think your explanation helped me out a lot. Feet first.
That's the mechanics. Feet, then control. You got to throw off defense first. That's what Mike Gundy was arguing about right there. They come up and get the ball, and they get both feet down and get both hands wrapped around it. And there's the matchup right there that Gundy's talking about. They've been going at it throughout this drive.
This will be the 8th play of this drive. Rudolph on the fade. Washington. And there's the flag. And they finally caught KU for interfering with James Washington and his Hassan defense.
But what Hassan defense is doing is what James Washington's going to see a lot on Sundays. Is he's going to see tough man pressure right here. Can you get off there? That's all good right there, and he just doesn't get his hands off him. And he obstructs Washington from getting to the ball.
The foul occurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball is placed at the 2-yard line. Automatic first down.
I like the way defense is competing against an elite player. You want to make a name for yourself, go up against the best.
Well, the best is there.
Well, they got two guys in Washington out here right now. Not going to let him go inside on him.
First and goal.
Good.
Looking for Washington. And another flag. They have no answer for James Washington.
Pass interference. Defense number 13. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic first down.
That's going to be some of almost the same thing that we just saw. Right there. I mean, he was fine. You can't play the ball like that, blind like that, and then obstruct. You look back for the ball, you got a chance. But I think Rudolph might go right back to him here.
Short side of the field for Washington. Rudolph on the key. Up in the air and into the end zone. Touchdown. Mason Rudolph. Second time today he's brought it in on his own. In the end zone. Touchdown. 47-17. Talk about a going out party for Mason Rudolph.
All phases too. I mean, second touchdown run, 17 on his career. Just an inside fake here, come out. Sell it to Justice Hill. Get good blocks on the outside. Good block that time by Britton Abbott. And that's some of the athletic ability right there, going up and over, that you've seen him do throughout his career. I saw him just pancake a defensive end against Iowa State on a reverse this year.
Amendola's extra point caps the 8-play, 75-yard drive.
James Washington on the block on this read option against defense here. Blocked him 7 yards deep into the end zone, all legal, hands inside, good fundamentals. Thumbs up for James Washington.
I see that you like contact, Mr. Defense, based on the flags that have been thrown over the previous plays. How about a little on my end?
Yes. Now, look, he's out there competing.
All smiles for that guy.
It is all smiles. It's a good finish. You always, everybody's probably asking him all week long, what are you going to do last game, and, the memories. But you just want to get to the game and then have a good game, a memorable game. Mike Gundy said that one of the two most celebrated players in the history is Barry Sanders and Thurman Thomas, and then there's going to be Mason Rudolph and his accomplishments as far as how you kind of celebrate a player and their career in their 4 years.
He's going to go down as Oklahoma State's winningest quarterback. He passed Mike Gundy, and so make him 31-9 today. 48-17. And it will be Shadler to bring it out for Kansas. So here's your playoff picture in college football as it stands at the moment.
But Alabama plays today at Auburn. That could change. OU against TCU in a rematch from November 11th. These two are going to play in Charlotte next week. This team wants to take this team down the way Pitt just took Miami down yesterday. And don't forget about the Badgers, all right, and what they're capable of doing, because they can get back in here too. So this whole thing could all scramble on Tuesday when the next committee gets together.
Did Pitt open the door for Wisconsin by beating Miami?
Yes, okay. Because if right now Miami can still get in if they can go beat Clemson next week.
Well, for the home run, and a pretty good connection with Shadler as Peyton Bender moves it deep down the field. Well, 8 of 33.
And Peyton Bender is saying, hey, look, it's not all about Mason Rudolph. I can throw the ball too as well.
Pitch to the right, Thompson. Net by Whitener, who doesn't let him get anywhere. Gain of a yard on the play. So we've been talking about Rudolph passing all day long. I like what you said about Bender. Why not? Let it rip a little bit here. 16 of 28, 169 yards.
Steven Sims' last drive, there he is up at the top. A lot of big plays from him on that touchdown.
Bender in trouble, sandwich, and sacked. Loss of 5. Enoch Smith was called into service a little more after the injury to Darian Daniels.
Darian Daniels not playing today because of an injury, a weightlifting injury during the week, but Smith will gladly pick up the slack here.
3rd sack of the season for Smith. 3rd and 15 now facing the Jayhawks. Bender nowhere to throw it. Finally finds Thompson as a possible safety outlet, and that goes nowhere. Broke it up. Justin Phillips.
Well, you know, we've seen when Peyton Bender doesn't have time to set his feet. You know, he's pretty wild and inconsistent, and really, once that protection broke down, not a lot of places to go with it.
Bender had the big 33-yard pass to Shadler, and then the drive now is stalled out, where the Jayhawks will punt. Tylen Wallace will call for a fair catch inside the 10-yard line, and Oklahoma State in great shape here with just seconds left in the 3rd quarter, leading 48-17.
And you just wonder here, at what point does Mike Gundy take Mason Rudolph, James Washington, and some of these seniors that they're celebrating today, take them off the field and just let the fans give them a standing ovation? I know he's thinking about it. He was saying that, you know, this week he was so upset about the loss to Kansas State. He came into work, but it was Thanksgiving week, and a lot of their seniors are out there delivering turkeys and working with, you know, in the community, and that's where they were. Well, he was trying to figure out how to right the wrongs that they made a week ago. They were out there doing the things in the community that they're a big part of.
Yeah, just one day after losing last Saturday, as Britton Abbott, Fine Feyuaki is on the receiving end of a 5-yard pass from Rudolph.
And that's the end of the 3rd quarter.
So the Cowboys will have possession way out in front here as we come back for the 4th quarter in Stillwater. Stay with us. Oklahoma State leads it big.
Big game today in Washington. Unfortunately, there may be a problem
here on campus. All Oklahoma State, 48-17 as we start the 4th quarter.
I think Mason Rudolph is right at 400 yards passing, which I think he said that's the 10th of his career.
And the 5th time this season. He stays in. Steps back, all kinds of time, airs this one out, looking for Washington, and it's just beyond his reach, incomplete.
Good battle outside with that Hassan defense, though. And, you know, it's not just 400 yards of bubble screens and checkdowns. I mean, it's a lot of deep throws like that last attempt to Washington. that gets him to the 400 yards.
Hey, like that stat line there.
Yeah. Now, there's been a lot of good days like that for this player.
Right on it, 400 yards. 3rd and 5. This is Lacey. He's good for a first down.
You want to see an orchestra going to work right now? Watch this offensive line right here of Oklahoma State with the cut blocks. All Kansas line, you go down right there. I mean, you practice that. Just want to get the hands down so that Rudolph can make this throw. No obstructed views there on the throw to Lacey.
Love it. L.D. Brown on the handoff. Flag on the play.
Personal foul, chop block, offense, numbers 71 and 72. Half the distance to the goal, it's first down.
Well, you got to be engaged with the defensive lineman. Wilson and Lundblade don't agree with it as they discuss it and back up. One of the few infractions for any of the offensive line today. Just saw them all cut block Kansas on the play before, perfect unison. Here it is. Just watch it one more time. Oh, this is last.
Rudolph fires and left it low for Washington. After the first and long situation following the penalty, Mike Lee defending for Kansas. Rudolph taps his chest. My bad. Did not make a good throw that time.
Mike Lee's from your town, New Orleans, right there.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
Landry Walker. KU has been recruiting the daylights out of southeast Louisiana. Of course, Oklahoma State has McCleskey, who's from Covington, Louisiana. 2nd and 20. There's McCleskey.
Yep, on cue.
Nice spin, eludes one defender, and gives them a very, very reasonable look coming up on 3rd down. Ogbabor on the stop for KU.
Yeah, good block by James Washington on the outside here. Good job against defense as those two continue to go at it.
Yeah, we were talking before the game today, talking that Lacey and Stoner might be the better blocking wide receivers for the Cowboys. We've seen Washington now make 2 fantastic blocks here in the 2nd half. There's Lacey, and they'll reach out and grab that one for a first down. Stuck by Mayberry for the Jayhawks at the end of the play.
Cut blocks up front. There it is. They all step to the left, get the hands down.
Lacey again. And Stoner's out in front of him trying to make way.
Well, when you cut block the way that we've seen on this drive, it gets the defensive linemen of Kansas get their hands down. And you see Mayberry down.
He is down all the way near the Oklahoma State bench. That's a long way to go for the
You're taking the gloves off. That's not good.
No. We'll take a break while they attend to Kyle Mayberry here in Stillwater.
So Dave here is taking the fan.
Pistols firing all day long for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Kyle Mayberry is okay, was able to return to the sideline under his own power, and Oklahoma State goes back to work here, leading 48-17. Mason Rudolph, gaudy numbers. Passing Colt McCoy on the Big 12 list.
Completion percentage has gradually climbed each year.
Double reverse. Lacey, who already has 3 receptions on this drive, gets around to the far side. A big block by Abbott will spring him forward almost to the Kansas 30-yard line. 26 yards. And now Joe Dineen is hurt at the end of the play.
I've seen a lot of Kansas games this year. I have not seen Joe Dineen banged up, hurt, limping, anything like this.
He will graduate in December. He's being helped off the field.
Here's Dineen there, and there's the crackback. Yeah, that play right there, that's a helpless defensive player, they really need to flag that type of hit, take that out of football where a player does not see him coming. Tyler Wallace, yeah. And I think Joe Dineen, he didn't see him coming, didn't feel it, and then he just got whacked. And they're trying to clean a lot of those hits up in college football and the NFL, and I think it's a good thing.
1st and 10. Handoff. Plenty on 1st down. L.D. Brown on the carry for the Cowboys. Washington will check back in. They're attending to Joe Dineen. Again, ending his career with a possibility of playing as a graduate because he will have that degree in December. Much like Rudolph, 2nd and 3. Takes the handoff to Brown. And he'll be swarmed and dropped down at the 30-yard line. Wise and Simmons on the stop, loss of 6.
Simmons has played well since he's come in for Dorrance Armstrong, and Wise is the bottom of that. I think he's been the best defensive lineman for Kansas throughout the season.
Was a captain except for today.
Yeah. Over 15 tackle for losses this year for Daniel Wise out of Louisville, Texas, right between Dallas and Denton.
David Beatty told us that Wise is one of the guys that represents the kind of culture that we want to have at Kansas, on our way to perhaps getting to someday be into the position that Mike Gundy is with his veterans and the players that he's been able to develop under the Oklahoma State culture.
Well, you know, one of the things you talk about culture, I mean, Oklahoma State's been going to bowl games every single year under Mike Gundy, and you get that whole month of December where you can really work, you can develop players, a lot of young players, and Kansas, it's been a long time since they've been to a bowl, right? You know, 10 years. And so, you know, if you don't get that month where you can really start developing some of your younger players while you get ready for your bowl game, you really lose out on a lot of time.
Amendola to attempt here from 49 yards. Got plenty of leg here. That's right down central. The field goal for Oklahoma State gets them over the half-century mark in the 4th quarter. All Cowboys. Amendola makes it 51-17.
Next Saturday is Super Saturday on Fox. It kicks off with the Big 12 Championship as Baker Mayfield leads Oklahoma against TCU. Then we go courtside for Big 10 basketball. And the Big 10 Championship finishes the day. It's Super Saturday all day, starting at noon Eastern, only on Fox.
Washington State fights for the Pac-12 North title against Washington in the Apple Cup. Wow! Tonight at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on Fox.
Today, all a part of an explosive attack from the Oklahoma State offense. Taylor Cornelius is warming up, the backup quarterback for the Cowboys. Could be a relief pitcher here for Mason Rudolph before it's all said and done.
Yeah. And I think they'll give Mason Rudolph some kind of a send-off today along with James Washington. How they do that, bring him out on the field, maybe take him off. Well, there's going to be some big shoes to fill here in Stillwater going forward. What Mason Rudolph has done, accomplished, and what he represents.
Shadler and Charlotte deep to receive. Here's Shadler from his own 8. Had a couple of nice returns today. Bring it across the 20-yard line. Greg Wolf in Los Angeles with an update on Michigan, Ohio State. Greg.
Sean, thanks. Yeah, over on Fox, concerns for number 9 Ohio State as J.T. Barrett went to the locker room with an apparent leg injury. In comes redshirt freshman Dwayne Haskins. His initial drive, he accounted for 55 yards. J.K. Dobbins would finish it off. Ohio State leads 24-20 fourth quarter. John, Brian, back to you.
Thank you, Greg. Great ball game there, as expected between those two arch rivals.
Just a blocked extra point separates the two into the fourth quarter right now.
Peyton Bender back to work for the Jayhawks. And he will hand it off. Darren Thompson on the carry. So Thompson is one of those guys that if you look ahead, he'll be a senior as well next year. Thompson, Sims, the guys up front, the quarterback situation will have an offseason to evolve as well, Baldy.
Well, I saw Doug Meacham before the game, the offensive coordinator, and he leaves for Louisiana tomorrow, start recruiting. And that's what they're going to do. They got to get better players, and they got to get some people into Lawrence right now, start developing.
Thompson again on the carry. That'll bring up third down. Gain of 3. Quentin Osborne is busy again up front defensively for Oklahoma State.
David Beatty, great high school coach in the state of Texas from Garland, Texas. Spent time down there at Texas A&M and had success there. Was there with Johnny Manziel and his Heisman Trophy run. Coached a lot of good receivers. Mike Evans was one of his receivers there at A&M. Trying to revitalize his program.
You know, we're playing in this beautiful facility here at Oklahoma State that has evolved thanks to the generosity of Boone Pickens. As Bender throws incomplete, looking for fares. They're about to embark on a major renovation of facilities upgrade at Kansas too, and that will help Coach Beatty in his progression.
The facilities, the stadium, you know, and then it's about putting a better team on the field, drawing more fans, and you start building it. I mean, I went to Duke University where David Cutcliffe took over a poor program and got some traction, and they've been able to win the ACC since he's been there.
Fair catch called by Stoner. Will we see a little more Mason Rudolph this afternoon? Stay with us. Fourth quarter action here from Stillwater continues after this.
Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was white as snow, but after an election...
We're watching the final moments of one of the all-time greats here at Oklahoma State. Here on this field at Boone Pickens Stadium, Mason Rudolph retakes the field with 9:14 to play, up 51-17.
Yeah, and I don't know how much longer we'll see him. I mean, I expect them to take him off the field here pretty soon and let him get a heroes worshiping farewell, which he deserves.
We'll hand it off to Brown, who has a lead blocker in Abbott. Coming to the near sideline. We'll get 3 on the play. Kyle Mayberry on the stop, along with Deontay Ford. And here's the curtain call for Mason Rudolph.
Yep. There it is.
He will finish as the all-time winningest quarterback in Oklahoma State football history.
There he goes. It's great.
Same for James Washington, who also receives an outstanding applause from the fans here. Brad Lundblade also recognized. Marcel Aitman. This is a pretty solid senior class for Mike Gundy's program.
Well, 31 wins for Mason Rudolph as the starting quarterback here.
Cornelius now in a quarterback, hands it off to Brown. First down across the 45-yard line.
You got a standing ovation here. They're still on their feet. They recognize what he has accomplished. Took over on November 22nd, 2014 from Dax Garman. He's been the starter ever since.
4 touchdowns today, 2 rushing, 2 passing. Well, ball's loose. Daniel Wise trying to jump on it, but it will stay with the Cowboys.
Well, when they write the record book for Mason Rudolph, it's going to include all of these numbers, but there's going to be a lot of pages. It's not a one-page resume now. It's going to be like a small book. It's been a good story here.
Yeah, 31-9 now as a starter.
I talked to him before the game, and you know, it goes by so fast. It all kind of runs together. You're probably thinking back right now and reflecting on his time here.
Do you remember your last college football game?
Yeah, we lost to University of North Carolina at home, but wasn't a good finish against a better team.
Cornelius will shoulder pump, going for the big ball. Got it. Alexander inside the 5 and tackled by Mike Lee just shy of the end zone. And no one cheers for Cornelius more than Mason Rudolph.
That's just being a great teammate. Cornelius here looking for his first touchdown throw of his career. See, that's what he wanted. He wanted him to get a touchdown pass. The way Rudolph has thrown so many here, he wanted that same feeling for his backup the last 2 years. And that's basically what Taylor Cornelius has been. It's been his backup quarterback.
56 yards on that play. Takes Oklahoma State now to 614 yards total offense. And at the Brown, and Hambe's there to make the stop in the backfield. Loss of a yard.
I love that reaction by Rudolph, though.
Fantastic.
Because, you know, you're a group, you're a team, but then the quarterbacks, they get together and they come in early and they watch all their film and they have their meetings, and so they're all in there together. You spend a lot of time with one another. You know, and Cornelius has been here a few years, kind of backing him up. Along with Woodkey. I mean, they've got a few guys there that have been the backup to Mason Rudolph. And, you know, for Rudolph's case, he's just been so durable. These guys haven't had a great opportunity to play a bunch.
Cornelius was a walk-on who was placed on scholarship before the start of the season. Pound fake, tucks it, trying to get to the end zone. He'll be just shy as a yard out. This is his 8th career game played. It'll bring up 3rd and goal here from the Kansas 1-yard line. Thankfully for Rudolph and his fellow seniors, they have one more game to play. Postseason.
There's a whole bunch of seniors there. Aikman, Rudolph, they all wanted to see him get in there, get that feeling.
Maybe Mike Gundy and his staff will call Cornelius's number here on 3rd down. Mason Rudolph is lobbying. Yeah,
you got to hurry up.
Yeah,
they didn't get it. They got
called
a timeout. Timeout to stop it.
Timeout, Oklahoma State. 30-second timeout.
That'll at least keep them a yard out of the end zone as opposed to 6 yards on a delay of game.
Well, Mason Rudolph today, he got things started on the opening drive with a touchdown run. And then a couple of big throws. This one to Marcel Aitman. This one down the field to Dylan Stoner. Touchdown. Another touchdown run. You mentioned 4 touchdowns. Went over the top on that one.
We had the lion's share of the scoring today, obviously.
There's a couple of Trey Carter. Yeah. Nose tackle coming over. Just giving him some thanks. Big hug there from Hughes. I think all programs, you know, you get lucky when you get a guy that is that representative of the culture. Then he has the durability, you know, and improved each year that he's been on the field.
Has a chance to have a 10-win season. Cornelius hands it to L.D. Brown, pushes through, and it's a touchdown for the Cowboys. L.D. Brown with his 2nd touchdown of the season. Makes it 57-17. 615 yards total offense. And that's a redshirt freshman. There's a glimpse of the future here for you.
Well, there is. I mean, in fact, all of the running backs, Hill and Brown and J.D. King, freshman from Georgia. I mean, they've got depth at that position.
Amendola trying to stay perfect on the day and the season, does just that. We'll take a break, 4:58 left. Mason Rudolph, now cheerleader in chief.
Yes, and good at it. That's a guy that catches deep balls, that's great after the catch. A humble as the day is long. But what an impressive career. When you watch him in big games against really good players, the Alamo Bowl last year, it comes to mind and how good he was. Just a dominant player. And you know you're going to see a great player every single Saturday when you line up against James Washington.
Washington will be a part of the Home Depot Award Show. Maybe a shoe-in to win the Bolitnikoff Award. He'll be at the Senior Bowl in Mobile as well. All right, let's check back with Greg Wolf, who's got another game break for us from Los Angeles. Greg?
Sean, thanks. Pair of Big Ten battles ahead on Fox. Number 16, Michigan State tries to complete their role reversal from last season's 3-9 finish. The Spartans look to go 9-3. as they face Rutgers, and the Land Lincoln Trophy on the line on FS1. Northwestern riding their longest win streak since 1996 as they face Illinois. Sean, Brian, back to you.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. I think Northwestern was at the Rose Bowl in '96 the last time they were this good. We are winding down here in Stillwater, Oklahoma. The Cowboys will get their 9th win of the year. They'll move on to bowl season, looking for a 10th win season for the 5th time in the last 7 years under Mike Gundy. Here's Sims. A score earlier today. He's pushed out of bounds by Darius Curry on a gain of 3.
I think when you look back at this Oklahoma State season, it's going to be last week's game against Kansas State. That's just going to be a thorn and a lot of these guys' side. One thing, a guy like Chad Whitener, I mean, he's going to remember that game that they thought they should have won. But you can see Ramon Richards and Chad Whitener like, one more time out here.
Timeout's been called to allow them to come off and receive the same ovation that the offensive seniors received here in front of the home crowd.
Trey Flowers. I mean, a lot of these guys, 5th-year seniors like Trey Flowers out of Converse, Texas. Watch these kids, they kind of grow up. Over 260 career tackles for Flowers. That Whitener leads the team in tackles this year. The fake tears, yeah, personality, right?
Ramon Richards is on that list too. That, you know, there's different guys that either transfer to this program or 4 or 5 year guys that you mentioned, and they all seem to.
Now they bonded.
Yes,
they bonded. Yes. But you know, it goes back. What was the theme all week long getting ready for this game and talking to Mike Gundy and reading all the notes is culture. They got this culture here, and they've all embraced it. They've all played by the rules. They've had to make some tough decisions along the way, but nothing's more important than the 200 players and coaches and staff that really are fundamental to this team.
2nd and 7. Bender, who's been at quarterback all day today, is unable to make the completion here. You know, keep this in mind about on the Kansas side too. While we've rattled off name after name on the Oklahoma State sidelines, guys ending their home careers today. Kansas will say goodbye to 8, and David Beatty will be looking to have bigger senior classes down the road, but there's 8 of those players that are leaving their college football careers today as well. And even in a 1-10 campaign, you know, leading into today, going back to your thought about the culture as Bender's dropped here in the backfield. Baldy, there's something to be said for, I guess, a foundation. And a foundation doesn't have to be wins per se, but perhaps the way that things are done. Mm-hmm. And maybe some of those guys will help lay that foundation that Beatty's looking for.
Yeah, as you get a good rush up the middle. Murray with a sack.
They lost 7 on that play, and the Hawks are forced to punt. Dylan Stoner will tell everyone to get away, and that ball is well suited for the next Oklahoma State drive with 3:56 to play, up 58-17. Mike Gundy still coaching it up. Let's get that headset on. Let's make sure we get the right stuff in here for Taylor Cornelius, who's in a relief role at quarterback.
Well, I don't think Mike Gundy's looking to run up the score or anything like that, but, you know, for a guy like Taylor Cornelius, who's been the understudy here, the backup to Mason Rudolph, yet to throw a touchdown pass in his career, he might give him that opportunity. You see a bunch of backup offensive linemen all going to the game, all getting a little bit of work right now.
Cornelius will be a redshirt senior next year. I do feel like they're bringing in a quality quarterback here in this signing class, this early signing class. Handed off on first down to Jerron Wilson.
Pistol Pete enjoying the afternoon. You got those chaps at home?
I wasn't gonna share that with anybody. Pistol Pete, Bullet,
Yeah.
all of them have had a fun last home game here in Stillwater. And the weather's been fantastic.
Been a great fall. All right. Taking as much time off the clock as Oklahoma State possibly can.
Handed off to Wilson again. Took a shot there from Mayberry.
That's good to see Mayberry back out there after he was dinged up a little bit.
Jerron Wilson, a redshirt freshman. Euless, Texas. Mentioning that last drive, Cornelius was a walk-on. What a big moment for him back in the summer, too, to finally get placed onto scholarship.
Yep. No, that's always a big deal. You know, he comes from a really athletic family. Got some gold medal winners in there, some NFL defensive ends. A couple other cousins that were involved in the NFL.
Will Keep chooses not to slide, slips one tackler, and then Deneen finally brings him down inside the 30-yard line. Well, he looks the part, doesn't he?
Yeah, well, able to pull it down. I guess one thing about Oklahoma State quarterbacks, they're big. You know, 6'6". Rudolph over 6'4". Wadti is over 6'4". You know, it starts with prototypical size.
Got 19 yards on that carry. And we're about to roll underneath 2 minutes remaining in the game. All Cowboys today. Handed off to Wilson. Pumps outside. There's a flag on the play as he's tackled inside the 25-yard line.
Holding, offense, number 50. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Here we go. Next week, right here on the Fox family of networks, the Big Fox broadcast at 12:30 Eastern. The Big 12 championship game is a heavyweight matchup between Kenny Hill and the TCU Horned Frogs, and of course Baker Mayfield, perhaps the leader in the clubhouse, for the Heisman Trophy on the side of OU.
Well, you know, if I had a vote, I would give him my vote. And, you know, he's gotten votes, a lot of votes, the last 2 years for the Heisman. Was there in New York a year ago. And, I don't know, like, you know, it's in big games, of course, Bedlam, he was phenomenal, just absolutely phenomenal. What a battle these two guys were. And think about Kansas defense. They had to see Baker Mayfield last week, and they had to see Mason Rudolph this week.
We talked at the top of the broadcast about the Kansas side of last week's coin toss situation. Does in any way what Baker Mayfield did in response to that hurt his Heisman chances?
I don't think so. I think that people may look at that evaluation when they get ready for the NFL draft, but Bryce Love has been a phenomenal player at Stanford. Saquon, you know, to start this year, I thought he was the runaway favorite. Then he ran into Ohio State, got slowed down a little bit towards the end, especially coming off the Rose Bowl that Saquon had. But I think Baker Mayfield, start to finish this year, has been the most exciting player and the most accomplished player.
Wilson again doing the grind work here as we're under a minute left.
Listen, when I watch Baker Mayfield play, I think he's the most competitive player that there is. He can, it's almost like there's nothing he can't do. He can rescue a play, extend a play. He's fearless. He can play the game at a speed that most quarterbacks can't. And any comparisons to Johnny Manziel are fair, except that he's bigger, he's stronger, and I think he's got a better arm. But he plays the game just fearless. This throw here, that we just showed, all the way to the sideline, was unbelievable.
Wilson again, short of the first down, as we have wrapped up play here in Stillwater. So still plenty to talk about with regard to that college football season as we move to the championship week next week. Heisman still to come. And Oklahoma State will be involved in the postseason after picking up their 9th win of the season today. 58-17 the final. Thanks for watching FS1 College Football here in Stillwater. For Brian Baldinger and our entire crew, this is Sean Kelly saying so long from Oklahoma.
When you've been making delicious natural cheese for over 100 years like Kraft has, you'll learn a lot about what people